A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
This, I believe. Henry Cowell, one of America's leading composers, began his career as a professional musician in 1913, at the age of 16. Since then, he has written 11 symphonies, as well as a number of shorter works. He has also taught at many leading colleges and universities, and done much for the cause of good music throughout the world. Here is Henry Cowell's creed.
I believe in music, its spirituality, its exaltation, its ecstatic nobility, its humor, its power to penetrate to the basic fineness of every human being. As a creator of music, I contribute my religious, philosophical, and ethical beliefs in terms of the world of creative sound. That sound which flows through the mind of the composer with a concentrated intensity that baffles description, the sound which is the very life of the composer, and which is the sum and substance of his faith and feeling. When he offers a composition, one should remember that it is complete, concrete, and full of dynamic force in his mind and consciousness, and that a performance is only a run-through of the music for the benefit of those who listen, those who the composer hopes will respond. Yet this presentation will, if successful, so impregnate the listener with the philosophy of the composer that it is shared both in the realm of feeling and that of intelligence. Since I am more used to expressing ideas in music than in words, I find that the latter seem inadequate and do not have the drive, positiveness, and persuasiveness that I should hope for in a musical presentation. But here are what words I have. My belief is that the golden rule is the supreme guide in human relations. I do not believe that any race or people is better or worse than any other. I believe that each human being should have the liberty to be an individual, and that everyone who wins the right to act in his own way must, in return to society, behave ethically. I used to be almost totally uninterested in politics, but it becomes increasingly clear to me that ethical individualism cannot flourish under radically extreme political conditions. Thus, I abhor communism, under which individualism is impossible and expression of liberal thought is punishable. And I abhor its right-wing counterpart, under which innocent liberals fear persecution and reprisals of various sorts if they express their sincere ideas for the betterment of the government. My own belief is in a regard for individual rights according to the letter and spirit of the United States Constitution. This I fight for by creating music which I hope will reach and touch all those who listen, so that they will be thereby encouraged to behave according to their own highest possibilities. Unexpected inner response to the power of music dedicated to human integrity might reach dictators more easily than an atom bomb. In any event, I believe that a truly devoted musical work acts to humanize the behavior of all hearers who allow it to penetrate to their innermost being. This is why I am a composer.
That was Henry Cowell, whose musical works have won him wide acclaim. He lives in Shady, New York, and teaches in New York City and Baltimore.
The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
Hiya, Mr. Marvin. I was just talking to Casey about you.
Uh-oh, a few not-so-gentle remarks?
Oh, no. On the contrary, Tony, Ethelbert admires your gift of gab.
Yeah, Mr. Marvin, you got such a nice way of putting things. You make them words sound so important.
Oh, I'd like to take credit for that, but I can't very well. You know, one of the things I repeat most would sound important no matter who said it, Ethelbert.
Yeah? Now, what's that, Mr. Marvin?
That Anchor Hawking is the most famous name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hawking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole, our adventure for tonight, Treasure Cave. Early evening, the Blue Note Cafe. Leaning happily on the bar is Captain Logan, chief of the Homicide Bureau. And Ethelbert, the head bartender, regards him with a look of unconcealed envy as...
You and Casey are going to have 3 whole days at Red Lake, Captain, with nothing to do but fish, huh?
That's the program, Ethelbert. We're driving up there tonight.
Some guys have all the luck.
Yeah. It's the first time that Casey and I have both been free at the same time. I'm finally getting a chance to make the lug eat some of those tall fish stories he tells us.
That I'd like to see happen.
Yeah.
To hear Casey tell it, he's a better fisherman than even Jonah.
Yeah. Jonah?
Yeah, didn't he catch a whale named Moby Dick or something, I think?
Moby Dick. Ethelbert, I always learn things from you.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Well, here comes...
Hi, guys.
Hello, Casey. Here's a stool for you, Miss Williams.
Oh, thanks, Captain.
Captain Logan's just been telling me you and him are driving to Red Lake tonight, Casey.
Yeah, the Red Lake trip's off.
Huh?
Yeah. City desk just handed Ann and me a special assignment, Logan. We got to be in Titustown tomorrow.
Is he kidding, Miss Williams?
No, Captain, we're going to Titustown.
Casey, I bet you asked for that assignment. You know darn well if we went fishing together, I'd call the bluff you've been making for years. I never believed you knew a trout fly from a bass lure.
Hold it, Junior. You and I are still going fishing tomorrow.
You're going to Titustown?
Lake Hopatobi, one of the best fishing spots in this state, is only a few miles from Titustown now.
Hey, that's right.
You and Casey can leave tonight as you planned, Captain, and spend the whole morning on the lake. And I'll catch a train tomorrow, and that'll get me into Titustown around noon. Casey will meet me.
We'll clean up our assignment, then I'll rejoin you at the lake, pal.
Hopatobi is a fishing spot, from what I've heard.
Ain't Treasure Cave near Titustown?
Just outside the village.
Treasure Cave.
Yeah, it's our special assignment.
You're going to investigate the mysterious deaths there?
Investigate?
Yeah.
Oh, we're not cops, Ethelbert. Miss Williams will simply write an on-the-spot feature story for our Sunday edition. I'll make with a camera.
Well, you're a cop, Captain Logan. How do you figure them mysterious deaths in Treasure Cave?
Treasure Cave is near Titustown. All I know about them is what I read in the papers, which are usually wrong.
Is that so?
Why, Logan's right, Annie. Yeah. Because we poor newspaper mugs have to base most of our stuff on what the cops tell us.
Is that...
Casey, do you figure them guys found dead in Treasure Cave were just murdered normal, or do you dope it as the sinister work of supernatural forces?
Sinister work of what?
That last dead guy, the archaeologist, had been drowned, according to the doctors, but his body was in a part of that cave that is at least half a mile from the water.
Oh, surely you don't believe in ghosts, Ethelbert.
No, but how do you explain the other guy who was killed in that same part of the cave about a year ago, and the guy before him?
Well, they were obviously murdered.
Strangely murdered, I read.
They certainly got fancy bump-offs.
I'll say. One man had been hacked up with a cutlass several hundred years old, and the other had a bullet in his head that could have been fired only from an early 18th century muzzle-loading pistol.
Which weapons, Captain, were the kind once used by pirates? And dead pirates are supposed to haunt that cave because they're guarding treasure they hid there.
If one of the good guys in my department could be detailed to that backwoods Titus-town neighborhood, he'd clean up the case in 24 hours.
Oh? You're going to Titus-town, pal?
We're on vacation to fish.
But if the boss of your department was one of its good guys...
Nuts.
Casey, maybe you and Miss Williams can solve the treasure cave mystery.
Well, of course, we're only amateurs, Sherlock, so it may take us a little over 24 hours to crack it, maybe even 25, Annie.
Maybe 26, Casey. After all, we haven't Captain Logan's long experience.
That's right.
It'll be embarrassing to the captain when you bust the case when it's known he was up there with you and didn't do nothing but fish.
Oh, well, we'll keep that out of the paper.
We've covered Logan before. We'll do it again.
You gotta protect your friend.
I see. All of you behind the needle, huh?
Can't you take it?
Casey, I can't get mixed up in that treasure cave thing officially, but well, I'll go there with you and Miss Williams tomorrow if you won't tell anybody who I am.
Okay, pal, it's a deal.
We got a call first on the man who owns the cave, Captain, Mr. Lefton. He doesn't like unpleasant publicity, but he's an old friend of our managing editor who finally got his permission to let Casey and me go over the place.
This Lefton's a pretty rich guy, I hear.
He's a retired broker who became a gentleman farmer. Treasure Cave's at one end of his farm.
I'll tag along when you call on him. Now, Casey, if we're going to get some early morning fishing, we got to hit the road.
Okay, let's go. We'll drop you off to your apartment, Annie.
Thanks. Good night, Ethelbert.
Good night, pal.
So long, Ethelbert.
So long. Oh, gee. A nice fishing trip and a swell murder mystery, too. Some people have all the luck.
Don't tell me, Casey, nobody ever caught fish with the wiggler lure you used this morning.
Oh, is that so? Well, I've caught fish and plenty with that wiggler. Well, it didn't work this morning because every time I got a near strike, you were splashing around with that pork rind bait.
Pork rind's the best bass bait in the world.
That's so. Why'd you catch something with it then?
Well, only because you were...
Casey, Captain,
What?
please.
Huh?
Women are supposed to be gabbers, but no two gals ever extended a two-word subject like no fish into an hour-long argument.
How about the two-word subject long skirt, Annie?
Or a popular one-word subject, men.
If you men were gentlemen, you wouldn't gang up like that on a lady.
Gang up. Well, here's Lefton's house. Come on, let's pile out.
Hey, some place the guy has.
Oh, I'll say. Beautiful house and a model farm and the ocean practically in his backyard.
All we're interested in, Annie, is the cave he owns. Now, let's go in and introduce ourselves.
Casey, remember, I don't want to be known as a city cop here.
Oh, okay. Here, carry my camera and equipment case.
Carry...
Sure. We'll say you're my assistant photographer.
Swell, pal.
Wait a minute. Remember, I demand a respectful attitude from underlings. So please address me hereafter as master.
Nuts.
Oh, hey, a woman's just come out the door.
Good afternoon.
How do you do? We have an appointment with Mr. Lefton.
You're the newspaper people?
Yes, the Morning Express. Our
My
managing
brother
editor.
told me to expect you. I'm Miss Lefton.
Oh, nice to know you. This is Miss Williams.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Mr. Logan, my assistant. And my name is Casey.
Please come in.
Thank you.
My brother's in the living room here. Basil,
Oh, yes, Ida.
the newspaper people are here.
Oh.
Miss Williams, Mr. Casey, Mr. Logan. This is Mr. Lefton.
Sit down.
Thank you.
Ida, get Ramsey.
Very well, Basil. Excuse me.
Ramsey is my superintendent. He'll take you people to the cave. Frankly, I deeply resent the invasions of my privacy caused by the so-called mystery murders in Treasure Cave. So please get your material as quickly as possible.
Yes, we will, Mr. Lefton. I suppose the stories given to the press associations by the county sheriff's office are substantially correct.
Insofar as I know, and all I know is that during the past year and a half, 3 men have been found dead in the cave.
According to legend, Mr. Lefton, pirate treasure is hidden in the cave.
That's only a legend, Miss Williams.
Have you any theory to account for the recent murders, Mr. Lefton?
I think they're the work of a madman.
Why?
Because they were so utterly purposeless. None of the victims were robbed, and they had nothing in common. Sheriff Fargo agrees with me.
Yeah. The 3 victims had nothing in common, huh?
Nothing.
But all had your permission to be in the cave.
Yes, I've never thrown it open to the general public.
Well, then your permission is one thing they had in common.
That can scarcely account for their deaths, Mr.
Excuse
Casey.
me, Basil.
Yes, Ida.
Mr. Weiler's on the phone. Will you talk to him?
What does he want? The same old thing?
Yes, he says he's willing to increase his last offer by $2,000.
Tell him I say again that the land isn't for sale.
Why don't you tell him?
I'm tired of telling him. Anyway, it's your concern more than mine. This property is going to belong to you.
I'll tell him.
Forgive me for shouting at you, Ida. Did you send for Ramsey?
Yes, he's on his way here. Excuse me.
I apologize. This man Weiler owns the farm adjoining mine, and for the past 2 years, he's been trying to buy a strip of my land. I'm completely fed up with him.
I guess we've all met tests like that.
Mr. Lefton,
Oh, yes, Ramsey.
your sister told me to come right in, sir.
Quite right, quite right. These are the newspaper people I told you about. Miss Williams, Casey, Mr. Logan. This is Ramsey, who runs my farm.
How do you
Very
do?
glad to know you.
He'll take you to the cave.
All right. We'll get going right away, Mr. Lefton, and thanks a million.
Not at all. Take them by boat, Ramsey. The best way.
Yes, sir. Come with me.
Okay. Thanks again, Mr. Lefton.
Our story will continue in just a moment. And now, a word about beer insurance.
Beer insurance? How does that work?
Easy. Select a good, tasty brew, then insist on having it delivered in glass bottles.
In glass bottles?
Yes, in glass bottles. Because glass bottles and glass bottles only can bring you beer and ale as it comes from the brewery, unaffected by any foreign taste or flavor.
Beer that's brewery bright.
Beer in glass.
And now we have a new kind of bottle.
The Anchor Glass one-way bottle.
It requires no deposit.
No return to the store.
When it's empty, dispose of it as you would any food container.
You are the first and last to use it.
It saves space in the icebox.
Easy to open, easy to drink from.
It's always in good taste.
And it protects that real brewery flavor.
As only glass can protect it.
Yes. The revolutionary new Anchor Glass one-way no-deposit bottle is sweeping America. For perfect flavor, demand beer in glass bottles. For extra convenience, demand your favorite brand in the new Anchor Glass one-way no-deposit bottle, a product of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
Motorboat will get us to the cave in just a few minutes. If it took you folks overland, it'd take longer.
Cave entrance is near the beach, Ramsey, is it?
It's right off the water, Mr. Casey. The scientific fellers who came here told me Treasure Cave was hollered out by the sea. That's why it ain't a pretty cave like some I saw in Kentucky when I was soldiering down there.
Oh, did you go through Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, Mr. Ramsey?
Yes, ma'am. They tell me folks come from all over the world and pay big money to go through that place, but the hole under them cliffs I'm taking you to is nothing but a dark old tunnel.
How long you been out of the Army, Ramsey?
2 years. Got too old. Come right back here, and Mr. Lefton's sister gave him an old job back.
His sister keeps house for him?
Yes, ma'am. Ever since his wife died 20 years more ago. I figure Miss Ida got married or never got married herself because she thought she ought to take care of him and his daughter.
Lefton has a daughter?
She's had 3 husbands, all no good. She's supported on her father's money. Now he's paying for a 3rd divorce so she can marry a 4th bum. The old man's crazy about his only kid, so she gets anything he's got and throws it away.
Guess he has plenty. We heard him refuse to sell a part of his farm at any price this afternoon.
That guy Weiler?
Yeah.
The boss won't sell the cave.
Cave?
It's on the strip of land Weiler wants to buy. It ain't worth much. Guess that's why he willed it to his sister. That no good daughter of his gets everything else when he dies. You can see the cave entrance now at the foot of the cliff.
Oh, that big hole there?
Uh-huh. Injun Sam's waiting there. He'll take you to where them murders were committed.
Injun Sam.
Oh, Sam's what you call character. That's him standing on the dock there.
Big guy.
Weighs over 250 and none of it's fat. He killed a guy with just one punch.
He's killed a man?
Yeah. Set him up for manslaughter, but Sam got a full pardon. He came out of jail about the same time I got out of the Army. Hey, Sam.
Oh, Ramsey.
Got them newspaper people aboard?
Huh? Low line. I've fastened both.
All right, here goes.
I got...
I'll help you out, lady.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Ramsey.
Sam, this is Miss Williams, Mr. Casey. Doggone, I forgot your name.
Oh, Logan, my assistant.
Oh, sure, Logan.
Oh.
Don't forget my equipment, Logan.
Yeah, Mr. Casey.
I bring lantern here for each. Take there.
Much obliged.
Thank you.
Leave you folks now and get back on the job.
Much obliged for your help, Ramsey.
I'll thank my boss. Watch out for him, Sam.
I watch out, Ramsey.
Casey, I don't like this Indian Sam.
Neither do I, Annie. Not so crazy about Ramsey either.
Where you people want to go? To Spirit Temple place where murders are done?
Yes, Sam. Take us to the Spirit Temple.
Come. It's dark inside. Use lantern and watch your steps.
When do we get to the Spirit Temple, Sam?
Don't now.
Hey, how big is this cave? You've been walking a long time.
Half mile.
And most uninteresting, just a dark, dreary tunnel.
Yeah, certainly no tourist attraction.
Cave made by spirits.
Ever run into one of those spirits?
I hear and see many things in caves that make me afraid. I not go alone to Spirit Temple anymore.
When did you see and hear those things?
After I come back here from prison.
Have you told the police about it?
I tell Sheriff Fargo. He say I crazy. I go ahead now. Cave gets very narrow here. You follow.
Hey, how does that guy strike you, Casey? You think he's nuts or putting on an act?
I don't think he's nuts, Logan.
He makes a swell suspect for all three of those murders.
Apparently the county sheriff doesn't think so.
Sheriffs are sometimes better politicians than they are policemen.
Said a mouthful there.
I'll say. Hey, the cave has gotten narrow.
Yeah, there's only a passage here.
Winds around like a corkscrew.
Watch that back there. Shine lights on floor. You go downward now.
We're watching, Sam. Careful.
Yeah, I'm in here. Fine, it is deep.
And now the passage is getting wider. There's a squeeze back there for guys our size, Casey.
A much tighter squeeze for an Indian sand. This guy's built like a battleship.
Hey, we're coming out in a huge chamber.
Hey, ceiling must be 100 feet up.
Here is Spirit Temple for men die.
Yeah. Show us where those dead men are found.
Come. Man killed by pirate sword died here.
Oh, the rocks are stained with blood, Casey.
Yeah.
Come. Man who is drowned lie here.
That guy who drowned that man outside the cave and then carried him all the way in here must be a big, strong guy, Sam. Extra big and strong.
That's what Sheriff Fargo say. But I say, man drowned here in Spirit Temple.
There's no water here. Drown a man in.
Spirits bring water. Spirits drown that man.
I'll believe that after I see his spirit at work. I'm beginning to wonder what kind of a law officer this Fargo is.
He good sheriff. He good little man. He my friend.
He's obviously your friend.
What you say?
Logan didn't mean anything, Sam. That's just his way. Hey, show us where the third dead guy was found, will you? The one who was shot with the old-time pistol.
He was on other side. Behind Temple also.
Logan, you've got to take it easy. Can't make cracks about this sheriff.
I know, I got sore. Why hasn't he put that big guy through the work? Smells like out-and-out protection to me.
Me too.
Well, okay, but Sam's watching us. Come on, break up this huddle. Did you call that big rock formation the Temple Altar, Sam? Is that it?
That is what it's called.
Yeah, looks like a giant-sized altar.
Yeah, and the rocks around it look like giants praying. It's spooky.
Here is where a man found with bullet in... Mr. Case, Mr. Logan.
What?
Look there.
Oh, a man.
There's an arrow through his throat.
Logan, went clear through. Look at the head of it sticking out.
Flint arrow hit.
His old Indian arrow. Very old.
You know this dead man, Sam?
Yes. Sheriff Fargo.
Come on, get in the car. Let's think this thing over.
You know, we'd better do some thinking after what we've just been told by Sheriff Fargo's chief deputy.
I owe Fargo's memory a big apology. He hasn't been missing a bet, Casey.
You said it.
Everyone who had access to that cave was checked by the sheriff's office, and Fargo spent hours in the spirit temple searching for leads. That's what he's doing this morning when the coroner says he got that arrow through his throat.
He got it because he found a lead.
As the others were killed because they'd found something.
Oh, the pirate treasure?
Yeah, apparently.
Just before the first killing, that man Weiler tried to buy the cave and legal property rights to anything found on a person's land. Casey, drive out to Weiler's place and let's see what we can find out about him.
It might take too long, Annie. We haven't got much time to waste up here.
Drive back to Treasure Cave, Casey. We'll pay another visit to the Spirit Temple.
Check, pal. My idea exactly. But we'll stop off first at Lefton's house.
Why?
Because every murder victim, including Sheriff Fargo this morning, had received formal permission from Lefton to prowl through that cave.
Yes, you gentlemen and Miss Williams may go again to the cave.
Thank you, Mr. Lefton.
Ida, will you phone Ramsey's quarters and ask him to take these people by boat?
Right away, Basil.
I'm terribly distressed by Sheriff Fargo's death. Terribly distressed. He was a friend of mine.
I can't get over what happened to Sheriff Fargo, Mr. Casey. He was a friend of mine. Only this morning I took him to the cave in this very boat. So I'm taking you folks now.
Did you take all the other murder victims to Treasure Cave, Ramsey? In this boat?
Yep, all of them. Then turned them over to Injun Sam.
No. I go inside cave with none of those men who were killed. They say they want to be alone. So I give them lanterns. Then go up to my house on cliff. Shall I guide you again to the Spirit Temple?
No, Sam. We want to be alone.
Just give us lanterns.
Okay. I give. Then go my house.
Quite a few little things those murder victims had in common. Here's a group of rocks we'll concentrate on, Logan. They're set close together.
Yeah.
Only a small man could wedge himself between any of these big stones.
Sheriff Fargo, like the other murder victims, was a skinny little guy.
Another thing they had in common, Casey.
Yeah, there's so many rocks around here, so many possible passages.
Now shine your lantern into each crevice as we're doing it for you.
Try to spot a place that a little guy might squeeze through.
Or a little woman.
Huh?
Don't move, any of you.
Ida!
Miss Lefton.
You're armed with a very modern weapon this time, Miss Lefton.
Yes. A bow and arrow or an ancient pistol can be effective against a single man. But when you left my brother's house, I sensed that I might have to kill all three of you.
You reach your private passage through your brother's house?
I enter it from a point near the house. No one knows the spot but me. I'm sorry. I must kill you now.
Well, spoil the game you've been playing if you bump us off with anything so unfanciful as that rifle, Miss Lefton.
I haven't been playing any games. I've been protecting my personal interests. I discovered this passage while Injun Sam was in prison. And since there are superstitions about this cave, I killed the men who discovered my secret in an unusual way.
Your secret is the pirate treasure.
No, Miss Williams. This passage leads to another cave that extends for endless miles with ceiling of crystal-like gypsum and pillars of white onyx, a fairyland of beauty. People will pay to see it, pay millions, pay me, because I inherit the cave.
Why did you have to keep it a secret?
Because of Basil's worthless daughter. She'd get it if Basil knew the cave was of any value. He'd change his will. You see now why I protected myself in the only way I could, by killing those who threatened the security I've earned. I'll kill everyone who threatens. Oh!
I got her, Logan. You got her. I got her. You got so interested in what you were saying, you came too close to it.
Yeah. Here, where you pulled a gun. When a woman starts to talk, you just gotta stop her.
We'll join the crowd at the Blue Note in just a moment. Many a housewife will tell you that she much prefers Fire King oven glass for this very practical reason. Fire King oven glass is so easy to clean. That's it. Fire King oven glass is so easy to clean. It won't absorb the baking stains and odors which are almost impossible to remove from ordinary baking dishes. Now, there's a scientific reason. Fire King oven glass has a special non-porous surface which is literally mirror smooth. This surface is achieved by a closely guarded Fire King secret process. This is just one of the many reasons it will pay you to insist on Fire King oven glass by name, for there is only one genuine Fire King oven glass. Now, you'll find a wide variety of Fire King casseroles, pie plates, and general utility dishes in all sizes wherever household glass is sold. You'll be amazed at the low price, and you'll be charmed by the clean, gleaming, pale blue beauty of Fire King oven glass, a product of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
The case was busted in less than 24 hours. How much were you?
In less than 8 hours, Ethelbert.
8 into 24. Gee, that's only a third of the time Captain Logan said.
There were 3 of us working on it.
3? Well, Casey and Captain Logan makes only 2. Oh, you.
Yes.
There's a few things I don't get, Miss Williams. How did the guy get drowned in that spirit's temple half a mile from water?
Well, it doesn't require an ocean to drown a man, Ethelbert. A small pail of water will do the job if you first hit him on the head with a rock and then dunk his face.
So that's how.
That's how.
Clever, you women.
Thanks.
The only thing I got against women is they talk too much.
Oh, yeah?
Casey and Captain Logan still up at the lake catching fish.
They're still at the lake, not catching fish. And they're talking about no fish. Talking, talking, talking.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is brought to you each Thursday by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King oven glass, Anchor glass containers, Anchor caps and closures, all products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Crime Photographer is directed by John Deep. The original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Tittison is the Blue Note pianist. Daylight saving time ends next week, and the entire country will be on Standard Time. If your area has not been on Daylight savings time, tune in Crime Photographer 1 hour later. This is Tony Marvin saying goodnight for the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, with offices in all principal cities of the United States and Canada. Thursday night on CBS is the biggest show in town, so stay tuned for exciting dramatizations on Reader's Digest Radio Edition, which follows immediately over most of these stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
This I believe. Sir Henry Dale is a foremost English scientist and statesman of science. He is a big, broad, white-haired man who at 77 preserves a tremendous zest and a lively sense of fun. His achievements have won him a Nobel Prize and the presidencies of both the Royal Academy and the British Association for the Advancement of Science. Here is Sir Henry Dale's creed.
I believe in the supreme value of truth, and in man's unrestricted search for truth as one of the first conditions of his moral as well as his material progress. The truth found by man's searching will be liable always to be superseded, revised, or extended with the unending progress of his discoveries. Yet it is something to be revered and to be defended against any attempt to suppress or to distort it for any purpose. This reverence for truth, with so much else that we prized, was rudely disturbed by war, and some effect of that violence seems still to linger. But it must be restored to its position of central authority in any code of morality, as a main bastion of defense against a creed which degrades truth into a mere expedient, to be mutilated or discarded in the service of political dogma. Truth belongs to all mankind, and it has no political frontiers or national varieties. To me, as a physiologist, it is especially clear that all my knowledge of material nature, of which my own body and brain are a part, comes to me through messages which nerves transmit from sense organs to my brain, where they somehow evoke a picture of what my conscious mind takes to be an external reality. While this link between brain action and mind remains, as at present, a mystery, no scientist can with full conviction be a materialist. Yet in his scientific work he must assume the material reality of what his mind perceives and an unbroken sequence in it of cause and effect, an assumption indeed not different from that which we are all obliged to make in the normal conduct of our daily life. Yet each of us, whether saint or scientist, finds himself under a like compulsion to assume in the conduct of ordinary life that his mind has freedom of choice and decision, and therewith to accept a moral responsibility. The progress of knowledge is making ever clearer the dependence of mind, character, and personality on the integrity of the brain, and is tracing the lines of a physical basis for the heredity by which so much of personality is transmitted. As I watch this progress, I find it impossible to believe in a personal survival after body and brain are dust. Yet I am conscious of a paramount need to believe in a moral purpose in life, and of a desire for common action with all who share that belief in defense of the great ethical and cultural heritage of our Western world. Would it be possible in such a cause for scientists, with their devotion to the changing and progressive truth which man's discovery is winning, to form a common front with those who claim to expound a truth divinely revealed and subject to no change? Perhaps a rallying point could be found in A.N. Whitehead's conception of religion as world loyalty.
They're the beliefs of Sir Henry Dale, a British scientist who was knighted and awarded the Order of Merit for his outstanding contributions in bringing science to the ordinary citizen.
Crime does not pay.
Nice going, Annie. Very nice. You're terrific.
It's easy with a rifle, Frank. Here, watch. Anyhow, tin cans on a fence don't move.
Moving targets, huh, Annie?
Yeah.
All right, now look what I rigged up yesterday.
What?
You see, here, look. You pull the rope here. See?
Yeah.
And way off there, a can swings like a pendulum. See?
Hey, that's better. Okay, let's see. There's nothing to it.
See, your folks must have named you for Annie Oakley.
Like I said, Frankie, with a rifle, it's a cinch. Watch me with a pistol now. Okay, start the can swinging.
Yeah, sure.
Here I go. 1 and 2 and... How am I doing, boy?
Oh, baby, you are a genius with a gun. Another couple of weeks and we'll be going places.
Weeks? What's the matter with right now? If I can hit tin cans at this distance, a guard at a bank ought to be easy as the sight of a barn.
In the interest of good citizenship and law enforcement, we present Crime Does Not Pay, based on the famous Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer series of short subjects. In just a moment, you will hear Two Gun Annie, starring Joan Loring. Now, Crime Does Not Pay, starring Joan Loring as Ann Armistead in Two Gun Annie. It was strange somehow, at least to those who knew her. Ann was a small girl, light brown hair, nice features, a pretty girl. More, Ann had every advantage of a decent upbringing and a nice home. Her father, Martin Armistead, widowed when Ann was quite young, was a school teacher. Respectability was the keynote of his life and of Ann's. All of which made it seem hardly within the realm of possibility that her father should have trouble with Ann. Still, the trouble came to the point where the father faced his daughter in the living room and spoke to her in no uncertain terms.
It's beyond my comprehension, Ann. I know what you've been up to, but I can't believe it.
What do you know I've been up to, Dad?
You were involved with the hot rods on the road Saturday night. You were at the roadside rest until after 2 in the morning.
So what? What if I was? And how do you know this anyway? Did you see me?
One question at a time, Ann. I know because Joe Barlow saw you from his prowl car and came to me about it.
Joe Barlow should mind his own business.
It is his business, Ann. He's a policeman. I never thought you would be a policeman's business, Ann.
So we were speeding. We weren't risking anybody's neck but our own. There wasn't another car on the road.
Stop it, Ann. You're a senior at high school. You know better. Even if you haven't any sense of responsibility, you ought to know
I don't
better
want any sense of responsibility. I want to have some fun.
Do you call it having fun when you put me to shame before the whole town?
Let the town mind its own business.
Perhaps when a teacher can't control his own child, it is the town's business. It may follow from that he can't control other people's children, even in the classroom.
Oh, cut it out, Dad. You can't get around me that way, and you know it.
What do I have to do with you, Ann? Lock you in your room?
Oh, try it and see what happens. I'll be 18 in a month. You'll lose me as an income tax deduction man.
Ann, I order you to stop your present behavior.
Save it, Dad. You're just talking.
Oh, am I? Well, then you listen, young lady. I've done my best for you since your mother died. You've never wanted for anything. You've had plenty of freedom. Maybe I should have seen to it that you were taught more self-control. I don't know. But I'll tell you this.
Oh.
I know you're a leader among the crowd that drives these jalopies and raises General Ned around town. And if you don't quit them now, I'll turn you over to Joe Barlow myself the day you're 18.
All finished, Dad?
In more ways than one.
Okay. Then I'm going out. Got a date with Frankie.
I warn you,
Save
Ann.
it, Dad. You said your piece, now I'll say mine. Before I give you or anybody a chance to turn me in, I'll leave this one-horse town forever. Take it or leave it, Dad. I'm sick of it, Frankie. I just won't take any more. I won't.
Well, what do you think? You think I like this town? Or what I'm doing, Annie Pie? Jerking sodas for a bunch of kids in jeans? Great for excitement, I don't think.
What brought you here in the first place, then?
The railroad. This was as far from hometown as my dough would take me.
Well, you've been making money. Why do you stick?
On account of a little babe with light brown hair who was afraid of nothing. Not even of me.
Afraid of you, Frankie? You're the only man in town.
You can say that again.
Hey, how fast did we go last night?
Last night I went 65. Now, what'll you bet I can get her up to 70?
Go on, try it. You think she'll hold together?
I tightened the bailing wire this morning. Ready now? Hold on, baby. Here we go.
Wow. Please. Keep her going.
Down to the floor.
Frankie, this is great. It's the fastest you've ever gone.
Get your head out the window.
Oh, Frankie.
How about that, huh? shucks, the radiator. Couldn't take it.
But the needle went to 72. It
72,
was wonderful,
huh?
Frankie. Yeah, it was just wonderful. Boy, when we roll like that, it's out of this world.
Well, you sure like speed, don't you, Annie Pie?
I like anything that'll get me out of this dump and far, far away. Oh, Frankie, I'm so bored. I'm so darn bored. Except when we do things like that.
Now, honey, take it easy. Now, just settle down for a minute, because I want to talk to you.
Now you sound like my father.
I don't feel like your father.
You don't act like him. Oh, Frankie.
Do you mean it, baby, about getting out of this town?
Like I never meant anything in my whole life. I want to get away. Get to a big city, maybe. Get my hands on some dough, real money.
How's your patience, Ann?
Patience? What for?
Well, we might have to take more of this before we could really get away.
Hey, you sound like you had a plan.
I have. Now, listen, I could go back home.
Yeah.
Tell the family I came back because I'm married and broke. They'd give me the money to send for you. That'd be the first step.
Yeah?
After that, we could go on and we could plan. We could make real plans. You and me together, Annie Pie. We could go places.
All right, Frankie. I'll be 18 next month. I'll be on my own. Send for me then, Frankie. And I'll take the first train going your way.
Look terrific.
I feel terrific. I'm here.
What about your old man?
Oh, I had it out with him. Told him I was going bye-bye. He didn't say much. Just looked sad around the edges. Hey, I'm free, Frankie. Where do we go from here?
Oh, we go to my folks' place. For a while, anyway. Hey. Here, put this on.
A wedding ring?
Yeah, check. I told him you're my wife. Next couple of days, if we have time, we can drive over to a justice and make it legal, huh?
Frankie.
Now, come on, Annie Pie. The jalopi's waiting. Time's a wasting. We got things to do, you and me.
Watch this, Frankie. See if I'm a good student when you're the teacher.
Uh-huh. Hey, nice going, Annie. Very nice. You're terrific.
It's easy with a rifle, Frank. Watch. Anyhow, tin cans on a fence don't move.
Moving targets, Annie. All right. Now, look what I rigged up yesterday.
Yeah?
You see here, look. You pull the rope here, see?
Yeah.
And way off there, see, a can swings like a pendulum.
Hey, that's better. Okay. Let's see. There's nothing to it.
Sister, your folks must have named you for Annie Oakley.
Like I said, Frankie, with a rifle, it's a cinch. Okay, watch me with a pistol now. Okay. Start the can swing.
Yeah. Check.
Here I go.
Huh?
1, 2, and... How am I doing,
Oh, you're
boy?
a genius with a gun, baby. Another couple of weeks and we'll be going places.
Weeks? Well, what's the matter with right now? If I can hit tin cans at this distance, a guard at a bank ought to be as easy as the side of the barn.
Why, Ann, whatever. Where are you two going this time of morning?
We're going hunting, Mom. Deer season opens today.
Well, the slacks are all right, Ann, but... Well, I must say you look like a boy with that baseball cap and all.
That's the idea, Mom.
Now, why would a young man want his wife to look like a boy?
Well, fellas might kid me too much. You know, who takes his wife along hunting?
You do, darling.
Don't I, though?
Both of you be careful. More people get killed in accidents. Here, Ann, wear this.
Your red scarf? But, Ma, when
Then nobody will mistake you for an animal. There. Red goes well with your coloring.
Let's go, Annie Pie.
No breakfast?
Oh, we'll be all right. We're going through town. Frank says the hunting is better over in that direction. Don't you, Frankie?
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, goodbye, Mom. Don't worry. We're going to be fine.
Look out, he's got a gun.
everybody. Shut up. Shut up now, do you hear me? First man opens his mouth gets it. See my partner's guns? He's got an itchy finger. Now keep him covered, kid, while I get the cash.
You bet, fella. We said don't move. Shut up, lady. You're not hurt. Shut up, everybody.
All right, kid. I got all the cash. Let's go. Boy, there should be a run on this bank this afternoon.
They're starting. Yeah. Quick, before they turn on the alarm.
How much you think we got, Annie Fry?
We'll count it later. Good hunting, though. Hey, you think they knew it?
No, not a chance. Hey, there goes the alarm.
Keep driving. I'll watch behind. Let me get rid of your Mars red scarf. They'll be describing it all over in half an hour.
But we'll be out of the state.
Hey, Frankie, police car taking off after us.
That was fast.
Slow down a minute. Slow down. Do as I say. They can catch us anyway. They got souped up motors. Good. Hold steady now. Don't spoil my aim.
And don't kill anybody.
You think I'm crazy? I just want to... Oh, I missed. Both hands. One more try. They're getting closer.
Shooting at us.
Well, did you think they wouldn't? Hold everything, Frankie. I can't miss this time. Hey, I got him. Right front tire. Blew right off the rim. Speed up, Frankie. We're in the clear. Now they'll never catch us.
In just a moment, Crime Does Not Pay will continue with Two Gun Annie. Now we continue with Crime Does Not Pay, starring Joan Loring as Ann Armistead in Two Gun Annie. They made it that first time. They made it completely. The police car, its tires shot out by Ann's marksmanship, abandoned the chase. Ann and Frankie drove into the next state, to the outskirts of a big city. There, excited, tired, they left their jalopy well hidden in a small wood, but not before Ann had exchanged her boy's attire for a sweater and skirt. Then they walked into the heart of the city, found a furnished room, and settled down. A week passed. The excitement began to disappear. Another week, and another. By the end of the month, with pursuit apparently a thing of the past, Ann and Frank ventured into the streets in daylight as well as at night. Late one afternoon, in a quiet residential neighborhood.
Frankie?
Uh-huh.
How much do we have left? Of the money, I mean.
Enough.
Oh, now you bought me clothes. We've been to nightclubs. How much is left?
Well, you counted it with me. You know how much we had in the first place.
Oh, I see. We're almost broke, huh?
Yeah, check, Annie Pie.
We better start thinking about getting some more.
Oh, we'll need a car for that.
Well, that should be pretty easy. Only this time, no jalopy, a real car.
Why not a heap?
A real car doesn't sway. Not as much, anyway. I don't want to waste bullets like the last time.
Pie, you're terrific.
Thanks, Frankie.
Any special kind of car you're thinking of?
Yeah, a heavy one.
Heavy?
Yeah, see, like that sedan over there.
Yeah. Looks like there's plenty of speed under that hood, huh?
Yeah. I wonder... Come on, Frankie.
Now what?
Neighborhood like this, people have a tendency to get careless a little. Oh, they sure do. Look.
Yeah, I see the keys.
Hanging right in the lock on the dashboard. Oh, it's practically an invitation.
Isn't it, though?
Do we?
We do. It's a keen job, this one, huh?
You can say that again.
Where to, madame?
The house, Franklin.
The house?
There's certain equipment we don't want to leave behind, including the firearms. And the young gentleman's outfit that fits me so well.
Gas, sir? How many gallons?
5 will do it, mister.
Will you turn off your ignition, please? Because...
Sorry, mister. As you can see, it's not your gas we're after.
Listen, tell the boy to put that gun away.
Why, when I told him to take it out in the first place? I do like the kid says, see?
Well, there's not much in the register. Please
Get
don't.
moving. If it's not in the register, it's someplace. Filling station big as this always has plenty of dough on Saturday.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. What may we do for you?
We want a room. What have you got?
Well, sir...
We've driven a long way today. Anything with a bath will do.
Sorry, ma'am. There's nothing left without.
Well, how much without?
There's nothing left without either, sir.
Did you hear that, dear?
I heard. It's not very hospitable, is he?
No. Now, don't you think you could be more accommodating if you were in his place, dear?
Oh, I know I could.
Now, see here.
You see here.
A gun.
Two of them. And they talk loud if they have to.
You want to know what they say?
Yes, sir.
They say, get into the office. My wife will mind the desk for you. Go on and get back into the office with me. Open the safe. We'll have a couple of guests. You're going to pay to get to leave. Lots of power under that hood. How I'd love to let her out.
But you won't. Not past the limit yet. No traffic cops this trip.
Check. Annie Pie, did you see a scared rabbit like that hotel clerk?
What a waste of time. $500 in the safe, and look at the chances we took.
Well, chances are part of this business, Annie Pie. It's like the big businessmen say, the calculated risk.
Yeah, sure, but the profit's got to be worth the risk.
Meaning, baby?
That the First National Bank over in White Oak is just begging for a heist.
And we didn't do so good at the first job in a bank.
Because we were green. We didn't figure on the time lock on the vault. This time we're really planning it. This is going to be a real haul.
Not a soul around. Perfect.
8:40. He'll be along any minute.
Cashier?
Right. He opens up, locks the door behind him. A couple of minutes later, his assistant comes in. Same routine. Just like I told you yesterday. Time lock opens the vault at 8:55 sharp. We'll have 5 minutes to clean out the joint.
Watch it, Annie. Here he comes.
Check and double check. Mind if we come in with you, mister?
I'm sorry, the bank isn't open until 9.
Yeah, get in. Shut the door. Your regular routine. This ain't no cat pistol.
Mine neither.
Yes, of course.
All right, move fast now. Come on, open the cages.
But they are...
You know what I mean. Pull that switch. I want the alarm off before I clean out the teller's cages.
You know your business, don't you? Here you are.
All right, now face to the wall. As soon as your partner comes in, here's what I want you to...
He's at the door.
Yeah. What a surprise he's in for.
Yeah.
Morning, Arthur.
Oh.
You got early customers over against the wall. Go on, move.
Yes, of course.
All right, Frankie, clean out the cages.
It's an easy $15,000 here in cash, kid.
There'll be more in the vault.
The vault? You can't open it until 11 o'clock.
Save it, Smarty. We know the time lock goes off at 8:55, and you know the combination.
No, Arthur, you can't give it to them.
That'll take care of him for a while. We intend to have that vault open, Mr. Cashier.
And I have every intention of opening it. I don't especially care for a blow like that one. May I help him?
You may not.
He's bleeding badly. A gun barrel is a nasty weapon to hit a man.
Shut up or you'll get it, too.
Already on the vault, kid.
All right, you. Downstairs, the vault.
Certainly. This way.
An obliging punk, isn't he?
Oh, we don't mind. After all, we're insured, you know, and we're a national bank. We have plenty of resources. Only fools like my assistant would argue with loaded revolvers. Isn't that right?
Stop talking. Get the vault open. Open it, you hear, and shut up. Or we'll leave you inside it after we clean it out. Get moving now. Fast. What are you doing?
I'm hungry, honey. Coffee and hamburger do good right now. How about you?
Well, I suppose. I'd feel better if we had a few more miles between us and White Oak before we stopped.
Well, they won't expect us to stop this close. You get it?
Uh-huh. Leave the haul in the car?
Well, why not? Now, who'd expect to find 15 G's in cash and 25 more in securities in a parked car? Some haul, huh, Annie Pie?
40,000, not bad.
Not bad at all.
Let's go.
Now, tell me, can you figure it, Annie Pie?
What?
With dough lying around like that loose in banks. People taking jobs in joints like this.
I wonder what they do for excitement.
A drive-in movie, I guess. Now hitch yourself to a stool, Annie, fine.
Hey, place smells good.
Sure
Maybe
does.
I am hungry.
Morning, folks.
Hi, morning.
It's likely afternoon, isn't it?
Not till afternoon. What'll it be?
A couple with and coffee.
Any wheat cakes?
I'll find out. Here, let me give you the setup. How about some coffee right away?
Good idea.
You come far this morning?
Not too far.
Is that your car out there?
Yeah, smooth, ain't it? Huh?
Oh, sure is.
Why do you ask?
Well, youngsters like you usually have jalopies, not big sedans like
Well,
that
it was
one.
my father's. He got a new one. He gave me that one.
You're lucky. Wish I had a father like that. Excuse me, I'll ask the cook about the wheat cakes.
Coffee's good, isn't it, Frankie?
Sure is.
Hello? Is Sergeant Kowalski there? Margaret. No, I'm working this morning. Look, Dave, I think I got him here. The kid who stuck up the bank in White Oak this morning. The FBI called before, gave a description, told us to call you. Their car's a maroon sedan, right year, right make. Only the young one's a girl. She must have been wearing slacks. Okay, I'll try to hold him. Only tell those G-men to hurry, will you? I think she's got a gun in her purse.
Say, how long does it take to make fresh wheat cake batter?
Well, Cook's very fussy about it, and he was upset because the old stuff was sour.
Take a burger, Ann. Let's get going.
Yeah, tell him to kill the wheats and make me a burger.
Okay, if that's what you want. Hey, what's up, sister?
All right, you kids. Reach.
What is
this, a stick-up? FBI. That was a national bank in White Oak. We got your coal, kids. Thanks to this lady here.
She kept us here. She phoned the cops and kept us
Don't
here.
touch that purse.
No, Annie, don't. Nobody takes me, and not even my own father could do that.
I'm sorry. It's just your arm. We don't like to shoot kids, but your shooting days are over. You should have been quicker on the draw.
I didn't touch no gun. I didn't. Frank, you louse, you rotten screw.
All right, save it, both of you. That assistant cashier. You fractured his skull. He died an hour ago. You're both due for a murder rap. All right, let's get going. The only party who comes out of this ahead is that lady back at the counter. The insurance company posted a reward half an hour ago.
Crime does not pay. Joan Loring, who starred as Ann Armistead in Two Gun Annie, will be back with you in just a moment. Now, here in person is Joan Loring.
To me, at least, the story of Ann Armistead and Frank Winfield is a revealing one. Both young people came from good homes. Anna especially seemed to have every opportunity to grow into a fine woman, a good citizen. Still, they went, in the old expression, they went wrong. Where and why? Examination of both their stories gives us one important clue. Both of them felt their lives were dull, that they needed excitement and a chance for adventure. This feeling is part and parcel of youth. But for Anne and Frank, there was no provision for working off that extra steam. There was no program, no plan. There was no guidance for them. The older generation failed them, as it's failing in so many communities across this nation with disastrous results. That's why, in the last analysis, Anne and Frank sought the release which leads only to the final lesson, that crime does not pay.
Thank you, Miss Loring. Does Not Pay is written by Ira Marion and directed by Mark B. Loeb, with music composed and conducted by John Gart. Technical advisor is Burton B. Turtis. The events, characters, and names used in the story you've just heard are fictitious. Any similarity is purely coincidental. This is Bob Williams speaking.
This I believe. Henry Francis Grady is a name which symbolizes the strength and prestige of the United States to the people of India, Greece, and Iran. For Dr. Grady has been our ambassador to each of these countries. To the people of his native San Francisco, his name calls to mind a long record of leadership in business and community affairs. To those who know him best, the name of Henry Francis Grady means a man of unusual integrity, sympathy, and understanding. Now he states his creed.
One lives as one believes, and believes as one lives. Even though what he believes may not be clearly formulated, the convictions are there. I have tested this on many occasions, both with regard to myself and others. I was standing on the porch of my residence in New Delhi at midnight several years ago, when the race riots were at their height. Furious Sikhs and Hindus had killed thousands of Mohammedans in Delhi alone, in revenge for the Sikhs and Hindus the Mohammedans had killed in the north. Most of our servants were Mohammedans, including my head boy Shakur, who was standing next to me on the porch. The rioters were only a few blocks away. A British businessman drove up on a motorcycle and pleaded that I send my station wagon to rescue his Mohammedan servants. I asked Shakur if he was willing to drive the station wagon and save these terror-stricken people. He quietly said yes and jumped into the driver's seat and was off. Since he and my station wagon were all known to the leaders of the rioters, the risks he took were great. A few hours later, the rioters came to the Britishers' residence and demanded that the servants be turned over to them, but they had been taken to a place of safety by Shakur. His reaction to the situation demonstrated his character and courage. You are a better man than I, Gunga Din. General George Marshall once told me that he would not write his memoirs because if he did, he'd spoil too many reputations. He reacted to what he regarded as decency and self-restraint rather than to profits. I have seen simple Greek men and women refuse to bow to their brutal German conquerors, even though their defiance meant serious bodily injury. I have seen young Greek soldiers charge up a ridge, strewn with landmines which could maim them for life, to drive out those who sought to destroy their country and their people. What they believed made them act nobly. These are some of the positive things which have gone to make up my belief. There have also been things which I have reacted against, and these, too, have had a lot to do with what I believe. Since my early youth, snobbery, intolerance, and bigotry have been abhorrent to me. As a child in a large Catholic family, I was deeply aware of the efforts of the APA to deprive my father of livelihood because of our religion. The lynching of Negroes or discrimination against them, the persecution of Jews or discrimination against them, early awakened in me a resentment which affected my whole attitude toward my fellow men. What I believe has thus grown out of early teaching and example in my home, the precepts of my religion, and the experience of a life which has now reached 70. So embracive is this that it covers everything which goes to make up the good life. The Sermon on the Mount, love thy neighbor as thyself, we are brothers under the skin. The teachings of every great religious leader all stress one fundamental principle of human behavior. This I believe.
That was Dr. Henry Grady, ex-diplomat, who is now serving his community as president of the San Francisco Federated Fund.
Calling all detectives. A man is murdered, and the only clue to his death is a hand of stud poker. That is the situation on this page from my casebook. The casebook of Jerry Browning, private detective. The private detective, like me, Jerry Browning, knows that no matter how lucky a killer seems, murder is always a losing gamble. The Club Coquette is the kind of joint that attracts high society and low characters. It offers blackjack, roulette, chuck-a-luck, and every other standard device for losing your money. The reason I was in the place was because I was being paid to be there. Ace Hogan owned the Coquette, Marty Wilson ran a rival joint out on River Road. Tonight, Ace and Marty were going to bury the hatchet, and my job was to make sure they didn't bury it in each other's heads. The people around the roulette wheel were betting $10 chips like nickels. Right up against the table was young Wade Julian.
Hello, Jerry. How are you doing?
I'm not betting, Julie, just watching.
Lucky you. These 6 chips are the last of 1,500.
Well,
here goes nothing. Did I say nothing? I was so right. Excuse me, Jerry. Gotta see Ace. Arrange for a little credit.
I watched him go. So, Wade Julian, 4 gold polo player, had gambling debts. Too bad. I walked over to one of the 26 girls, picked up the dice cup, and bet $1 on 5s. I threw 1 5 4 times in a row, and 2 5s for the next 6 rolls. Not so good. Then I felt a hand on my shoulder. Ace Hogan, the boss.
You picked the wrong number, Jerry. You should have took aces like me. Hey, wait a minute. These aren't house dice. This dame is cheating you.
He glared at the girl.
Sister, I don't stand for cheating. Scream out of here and take your crooked ivories with you.
Ace turned on his heel and walked upstairs. A couple of minutes later, Marty Wilson, the rival joint owner, came in, nodded to me, and went upstairs. By then, the dice girl had taken her hat and coat and disappeared. I waited around for Ace and Marty to call me. I waited almost an hour. Then... Ace was upstairs in his office, alone, and very dead. Called in as arbitrator between 2 rival gamblers, I discovered that Ace Hogan, one of the gamblers, had been murdered. Lieutenant Dawson of Homicide stared suspiciously at me.
Jerry, is this all there was on his desk? Just his playing cards?
I nodded. Ace's body lay slumped over the desk, as though he'd made a last desperate attempt to get help, or his killer. In front of him was a deck of cards and a hand of stud poker. The exposed cards were the 2, 3, 4, and 6 of diamonds. I picked up the 5th card, which was face down. It was the ace of spades. Dawson had a theory about that.
Ace was playing 2-handed poker with somebody. They got into a fight. Ace had the losing hand and lost his life, too.
I shrugged. Maybe. Ace was pretty busy tonight. He had a meeting scheduled with Marty Wilson, a run-in with a crooked dice girl, and even Wade Julian, the polo player, wanted to see him. When would he have time to play poker? Dawson didn't know. He was too busy taking down the names I mentioned and ordering the arrest of their owners. But I kept thinking of that poker hand. I went on home after a while and fell asleep, dreaming of a straight flush in diamonds, ruined by the ace of spades in the hole. I sat up suddenly in bed, said out loud, "The 5 of diamonds is missing," whatever that means. Out of the darkness, a voice answered me.
Don't mean a thing, Jerry. Not a thing.
I blinked as light suddenly flooded the room. After a few seconds, I made out Marty Wilson sitting in a chair and dangling a revolver on one finger.
Honest to goodness, Jerry, I like you, but I'm awful nervous. Don't do anything to make this gun go off.
I feel sorry for nervous people, so I sat real still. Dawson has a warrant for you, Marty.
Yeah, that's why I'm nervous. Guy like me, a gambler, has no chance. They got me convicted in advance. Sure, I talked to Ace, but we got along fine. He was a square guy. We fixed up the major, and I drove back to my own jet. And a fair chance I got of anybody believing me.
Look, Marty, I believe you. And the only chance you've got is to give yourself up.
You're crazy.
Okay, make yourself hard to find and see what happens when they do find you, Marty. He rubbed his chin thoughtfully.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, get dressed and make it snappy. I'm your prisoner.
Dawson was at headquarters by the time we got there, and he wasn't happy about getting out of bed either.
So, decided to give yourself up, Wilson. Sergeant booked this man along with the other 2.
Give him a break, Dawson. He gave himself up voluntarily. And what about the other 2 you've got locked up? They can't all be guilty.
At 2 in the morning, everybody's guilty. I'm going back to bed.
The next day, I got permission to talk to the other prisoners. The 26th girl was sitting alone in a lockup cell. She was still wearing the hat and coat I'd seen her in when she left the Club Coquette. Her eyes were red and swollen from crying. She kept insisting that she hadn't meant to cheat me at dice, and anyway, she didn't keep the money for herself, and besides, she wouldn't kill a nice guy like Ace Hogan. I listened for a while and promised to do what I could. In another cell, Wade Julian, the polo player, was a little more self-possessed.
Jerry, I don't know a thing about Ace's murder. Sure, I owed him a lot of money, but I've owed him money before and paid it. I talked to him, and he offered me credit, just as he did before. I didn't have to kill him.
I'll check into it, Julie. My last interview was with Marty, the gambler. I found him sitting on his cot, a deck of cards spread out before him. What are you doing, Marty? Playing solitaire?
Yeah. A guy has to pass the time, doesn't he?
Sure, Marty. Did you play poker with Ace when you saw him? Marty stared at me.
We talk business. Why should we play poker?
There were cards spread out on his desk. A poker hand, just like you've got spread out. Marty grinned.
This ain't poker. It's blackjack. Every gambler plays it by himself to see can he beat himself.
Blackjack? Of course it had to be that. Marty, in blackjack, the ace counts for 1 or 11. Add to that the 2, 3, 4, and 6, and you have
16 or 26. Why?
26. In his dying moments, Ace named his killer the 26 girl who killed him because he found out she was a thief. That cracked it. I got the 26 girl upstairs, showed her the card layout. After a while, she lost her nerve and confessed. Ace had tried to make her give back the money she'd stolen with a crooked dice, so she shot him. Just a nice girl. Like I said, every killer thinks he's smarter than other people. But nobody can get away with murder. It isn't in the cards. Listen next time to Calling All Detectives, mystery drama, mystery quiz, and a chance for you to match wits with yours truly, Jerry Browning, Private Detective.
That knife. What are you going to do with that knife?
Nothing, Kitty. Nothing at all. I'm just going to cut you open, see if you've got a heart. See, I don't believe you have. And I just want to prove how a body can walk around without one.
Mickey.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest, our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in The 13th Floor. And now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of mystery and terror by radio's masters of the macabre. Our story by Winifred Wolfe is The 13th Floor.
Hotel corridors scare me late at night. They're too long and too creepy. I'm always afraid the walls, like big, black plaster hands, are going to close in on me. I wish somebody was around. No, not anybody. Anybody might be Mickey. And his hands aren't made out of plastic. They're bone and they're blood. And they want to choke the breath out of me. I just better get down this corridor and close the door behind me. I'll lock it and hide under the covers till I turn on the radio and I hear that switch. It's pulled in a little room. And Mickey is dead, full of hot sparks and his big hands hanging like putty. Then I won't have to be afraid anymore. It's what happened tonight, just now. It's making the inside of me all curdled and sour and sick. Even if I live a million more days, I won't forget how I came into that lobby Just like always. I walked over to the desk. Hi, Joe. What's a good word?
Here. Got a rent statement from the hotel. No letters.
Oh. Certainly it's hot out, isn't it? Sort of muggy and sticky. Think it's gonna rain?
Maybe.
You don't like me very much, do you?
No, not very much. You'll excuse me, I'm quite busy, Miss Owen.
Hey, you're a fresh little punk. I ought to tell the manager. It's a fine way to treat guests who pay their bills. Don't I always pay my rent on time?
Sure. Why not? $5,000 lasts a while if you take care of it.
Why, you. Hey, wait a second. Hold that elevator.
Sweet dreams, Miss Owen.
I said hold the elevator a second. What's the idea almost slamming it in my face?
Sorry, Miss Owen.
Yeah, I bet you are. Oh, Mr. Talbot. Evening.
Good evening.
Sure is hot out, wouldn't you say? I was saying to Joe, muggy and sticky.
Yeah.
I was, just at an awful good movie at the Franklin. Tomorrow night they're having Lana Turner. You like Lana Turner?
Very much.
Yeah, me too. A lot of women don't because they're jealous of the way she looks. Me, though, I got blonde hair myself. I was planning to see it tomorrow night. Do you plan to...
Sorry, Miss Owen. I have an appointment tomorrow evening.
Oh. You run the elevator, you fresh punk. That's what you're hired for.
Oh, by the way...
Me?
No, Tommy.
Oh, yes, sir.
Will you let me in with your pass key? I forgot mine.
Yeah, sure thing, Mr. Talbot.
The car stopped when I got out. I was glad to get out.
Your floor.
Yeah, thanks for nothing. That's when it began, right there. The light from the elevator looked like a lot of lemonade, only being poured the wrong way, up instead of down. Hey, I remember thinking that. Funny to remember it now. I looked at my watch. It was 2 minutes to midnight. I started down the hall. I'm feeling something's wrong. Guilty to get the jitters for nothing. Everything looked the same. Nothing was any different. My room was at the end of the hall. I took my key out and shoved it in the lock. Nothing. I kept twisting it and pushing it against it with my knee. Then, all of a sudden, I looked up and realized what was wrong. The number on the door was 1307, not 1407. Huh. I was on the wrong floor. That was it. That rotten little kid. I'll fix him. I was ready to bet he'd done it on purpose. Then...
Give Nicky a kiss, baby. Aren't you glad to see me?
Nicky.
Come on in. I've been waiting for you a long time. I said come in. I'm getting a draft.
Nicky, let go of my arm. You're hurting me.
Sorry, baby. Maybe I don't know my own strength, huh?
What do you want? How'd you get in here?
One thing at a time. Don't rush me.
What'd you lock the door for?
I don't like interruptions. You never used to either when you were alone with me. Remember, Kitty?
I don't remember nothing.
Yeah, I know. You got a memory like a faucet. You turn it off and on, off and on. Wonderful. Take me, for instance. I have the kind of a memory you can't turn off. Keeps running all the time. The longer it runs, the hotter it gets. So hot now, Kitty, it'll scald you.
Look, Nicky.
I am looking. It's still a nice-looking number, you know. I always did like the way your waist curves and how white your neck is.
You didn't come here to tell me how I look.
Toss your hair over your shoulder like it gets me away. Go ahead, Kitty. Toss your hair back for Nicky.
What are you trying to do, dangle me on a string?
Yeah, you're still a good-looking number. I don't look so hot, though, do I? You think maybe I lost a little weight?
Look, Nicky,
My
please.
face looks
let me...
kind of pasty. That's because you don't get much chance for fresh air, sweating what's left of time away in a death cell.
If I scream, the police will come and get you. If you come near me, I'll...
You won't scream.
No, come one step closer now.
You won't scream because there's not that much sound left in you. It's all frozen and sticking in your throat like an ice cube. Because you're afraid. You're afraid of me. Try screaming, Kitty. You see? What'd I tell you?
Nicky, I can help you. I can hide you here so they won't find you. Then I can help you get away, Nicky. Anywhere you want, I promise.
I asked you before to kiss me. You still haven't, you know.
No, don't come near me, please.
I used to like it. You never used to wait for me to
Yeah.
ask you.
Nicky, don't. No.
Sometimes you used to come over to me without me asking. Oh, what's the matter? Do I look as bad as all that? Oh, you afraid I'll get your pretty dress dirty?
But you gotta give me a chance. I can explain.
I know I'm not clean. You know, I crawled for half a mile in the mud until I couldn't hear the dogs chasing me anymore. If I'd known you were going to act like this, I would have said...
You gotta give me a
I
break.
would have said, Warden, call me a taxi. A nice, clean taxi so I can go see my girl, Kitty Owen. A cheap little squealer who sold me down the river for 5 G's. 5,000 lousy
Leave me
bucks.
alone. Hands off me.
Oh, I like to hold your face like this. Such a little face. Such big eyes. Big green eyes like a small tiger. Kitty, kitty. Like a cat. A sly, sneaky cat with long blonde hair. Don't you remember how I used to kiss you on the face?
Nicky, let's
On the face? What's your face?
Nicky.
You act like you do remember.
You remember, too, don't you? You remember how it used to be with us, Nicky? Feel my hair the way you used to. Go on, you like to do it. You said it was soft like silk. Feel my hair, Nicky. You're not mad at me, are you? I said I was sorry. I went crazy. I didn't know what I was doing. I'll help you now, Nicky. Come on, run your fingers through my hair.
Oh, lousy little tramp. Oh, don't make me laugh. You crying, huh? Cat crying crocodile tears. Are you crying because you're sorry for me? You're sorry because sooner or later the cops will catch up with me and drag me back and I'll burn to a crisp in the chair, huh? Or you're crying because you know what I'm going to do to you?
Remember how it used to be with us, Nicky?
I know when I broke out they'd find me, but I wanted to say goodbye to you first. I wanted to kiss you. See if it still did the same things to me. I'll tell you something, Kitty. You'll leave me cold.
That knife. What are you going to do with that knife?
I'm going to cut you open and see if you've got a heart. I don't believe you have. I just want to prove how come a body can walk around without a heart.
No.
Just arms and legs stuck together with nothing to make them run.
I'll get you through this. Do it.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Electrocute me first, then take me out and hang me? What's the difference?
I'll tell you, Nicky, how it was. Just let me tell you. After you held up that jewelry store and the old dame was killed, when they put up the $5,000, I went crazy.
Yeah?
Honest, Nicky, I must have been clear out of my head. I've been sorry ever since, but I figured the cops would get you for it anyway. And then I'd be left with nothing. I didn't have a cent.
So you didn't wait. You turned me in yourself.
But I didn't know what I was doing.
I know what I'm doing. I'm going to kill you, Kitty Owen.
It won't help any.
It'll help me.
Stay away from me.
The only prayer sandwich should be good for a laugh.
No, please.
Kitty, 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 like a cat.
No.
Yes, Kitty, yes. I'm going to kill you.
I got him. Following me slow like that, he didn't notice when I backed up to the table, picked up the vase. And after I hit him, he didn't know it then either. Just went down looking surprised. I knew he wouldn't be out long, so I bent over and took the key out of his pocket. He moved and made a funny little noise through his lips. Then I stopped breathing altogether. I was free. The hall was empty, no one around. I started to run down the narrow little corridor of the 13th floor. I pressed the elevator button, and I waited. Help, that was the only way I could get it. It seemed like hours instead of seconds. Finally, I heard it coming. I felt like I was standing on hot coals. My insides wouldn't stand still. The hand of the clock above the elevator climbed slowly from 5 to 6 and to 7. I was going crazy to stand in there. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And my heart exploded. My legs were soft, sticky pieces of dough, hardly able to hold my body up. The elevator had stopped. 12. And then went on to 14. 14. Then I remembered it wasn't going to stop. It couldn't stop. Because in this building, wasn't any 13th floor.
A man from the death house, and the girl who betrayed him, playing cat and mouse on a floor that doesn't exist. The hand of the elevator indicator did not stop at 13, but the hand of the watch on Kitty's wrist had stopped at 12, all ready for murder at midnight. And now, back to Murder at Midnight and the 13th Floor.
13th floor. Yeah, that's where I was, a floor that didn't exist, so how could I get out? How could I get away? What was I going to do? I didn't understand. I didn't understand anything.
Pretty good little slugger, baby.
Nick.
You took so much trouble to unlock the door, you should have taken a little time to lock it again after you.
Don't come after me with that knife. Please, don't. I don't want to die.
You think I did?
Why don't you give me another chance?
What
Nicky?
chance did you give me?
Oh!
Wow. I didn't think you had that in you. Well, why doesn't somebody come, huh? Maybe it's because there isn't anybody besides us. Cozy, huh? Try it again. Go ahead. Try your own again. Maybe you'll have better luck.
He was leaning against the door halfway down the hall, just leaning there and watching me because he knew he had me cornered. And I wasn't cornered. I turned and I ran the other way around the corner and down another hall. I didn't know if I'd really heard him running after me. If it was just the pounding in my head making a noise. I got to the end of the hall, then I stopped out of breath and looked behind. He wasn't there. No sign of him. I sucked in my breath so even that didn't make any sound. And I listened. I listened to nothing at all because it was so quiet. It was so awful quiet I could hear it. The wall I leaned against was big and flat and gray, and the corners jutted out into the hall like dead fingers. I looked to the right side of me, down the corridor. Like he wasn't there. So I turned my head. I looked at the hall, almost hoping in a way I'd see him and get it over with instead of this wait. I wasn't there either. I tried to squeeze my shoulder blades into the wall so I could hide, but it was hard and cold. It wouldn't move. Nicky, where are you? For the love of heaven, say something so I'll know where you are. Don't just keep standing here. I can't take it. Nicky, I'm sick. My stomach's sick. So am I. Just make some noise. Nicky, where are you? I found myself back at the elevator again. I knew he was around somewhere. Around one of those corners that were jutting out like dead fingers. Wait. The elevator was coming up again. The hand was up to 11. Had to stop. I pressed the button to throw all my weight against it. And it did. It did. The big door was sliding open, and I was safe.
Going up or down, Kitty Owen? I'll take you wherever you want to go.
Nick. Oh, not again. I can't stand.
I'll take you for a ride.
No, I won't go.
But didn't you ring me? I heard you ring. Come on. Get in. Just the two of us. We'll go for a ride. Only just one of us will come back. I said get in.
All the time he was talking, I was backing away. And then all of a sudden I saw at a door with a bright red sign that said stairway down. My last chance, I almost leaped to it. I opened the door and I flew down the stairs. It wasn't easy with high heels, but even so the sound of it was like music. Sweet, hot music from a clarinet, because I knew they were taking me down. Faster. I fell a couple of times. I caught myself by clinging to the bed. I was still there. I kept running. Suddenly, there I was. I was out on the street again. Now I was really safe. There were always a lot of people on the street. I didn't see any people, just a big policeman with a red face. Boy, he sure looked good to me. Hey, wait a minute.
Now, take it easy, miss. Don't get excited.
Hey, look, Nicky Carstairs, he's in that hotel. He's after me.
Carstairs?
Yeah.
Sure, and who you wanting the kids? It can't be.
Look, he's out, I tell you. I saw him. He wants to kill me.
But Nicky Carstairs is in the death cell. Don't you read the papers?
Say, I'll have you reported. What kind of a cop are you anyway?
What kind of a woman are you without a heart? Just arms and legs stuck together with nothing to make them go.
You're not a policeman. You're Nicky. You're still Nicky. You didn't look like Nicky a second ago. I don't understand. I don't understand.
What's the get-up? How do I look?
Nicky, please, no, not anymore.
I told you we were playing cops and robbers, and this time I'm the cop. And I'm still going to kill you, Kitty Owen.
It was no good. I had to run again. My last stronghold. My last hope, the hotel lobby. If there was no one there, I just gave up. I was through. As I ran around the corner, I thought the war had ended all over again because there was confetti coming out of all the windows, so much of it. Falling. The sidewalks were beginning to look like it had been snowing for a long time. I ran over them like a carpet. I ran with my eyes down and I could see the headlines. Nicky Carstairs in death house, prison. No one had to tell me this. I ran into the lobby to find people, to tell them where he was. There was no one there either. Only Joe at the desk. Joe?
Oh, early tonight, Miss Owen. Not quite midnight.
Look, Joe, I know you don't like me, but you gotta help me.
Reading the papers about Nicky Carstairs breaking out?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to...
$5,000 should last you a little while if you take care of it.
Hey, Joe, he's here. He's in the hotel. He's chasing me.
That's a lot of money. $5,000.
Wants to kill me. You gotta help me.
Sweet dreams, Miss Owen.
He's here. Can't you understand? He's on the 13th floor.
There's no 13th floor in this
He's there. I tell you.
Sweet dreams, Miss Owen.
I know there wasn't any use arguing, and he wouldn't believe me. Even if he did, he wouldn't help me because he didn't like me.
Going up.
No one would believe me. There was only one thing left for me to do. Lock myself in my room on the 14th floor. Stay there until they caught Nicky. I leaned against the back of the car, crouched in a corner. My eyes closed because I was so tired. I was so tired. I kept thinking of a bed, a big white bed, three white sheets to crawl between, and a door that was locked.
Sorry to have to bother you about that passkey, Tommy. I just forgot to pick mine up at the desk.
It's like a glass of cold water had been thrown on top of me. I opened my eyes. That Talbot guy was in the car again. No. Not again. Still. And he was talking about the pass key the way he had before. No, not before either. Because when I looked at my watch, it was still a minute to midnight. Then I suddenly knew. I was so weak with relief I wanted to cry. Yeah. I heard him say it. Sometimes you can see your whole life pass by in just a second. That lifetime I lived in the elevator. All in my head. Was sandwiched in between a couple of floors. It never really happened. It was just that I had been dreading for months coming back some night, finding Nicky there waiting for me. My mind had invented a 13th floor, when it never was there at all. And the cop and the newspapers that said Nicky was out. All part of it. That crazy half-dream. Of course he wasn't out. I told myself it was all part of it. I never got out of the elevator. I was there all the time. All the time.
Your floor, Miss Owen.
14?
Sure, 14. Ain't that your floor?
You're sure this time, aren't you?
What are you talking about this time?
I mean, Never mind. 1401. That was on the first door. I was on the right floor this time. I'm feeling better already. What a fool I'd been. Started to walk down the hall. I had a feeling Talbot and the boy in the elevator was watching me. Wish they shut the door and go on.
Say, Mr. Talbot.
Yes?
Did you read about Nicky Carstairs?
No, what?
He escaped. Got out of the death house.
Is that so?
He's on the loose. Good night, Miss Owen.
Yeah. Hotel corridors scare me. They're too long and too creepy. I'm always afraid the walls, like big flat plaster hands, are going to close in. Now I know it was more than just dreading it for weeks. Made me imagine. Nicky was out and after me. Must have known it all along. Had a feeling I wasn't safe. I'm going to go to my own room. I'll lock the door and hide under the covers till I hear they found him. Took him back. Till I hear he's dead, I won't have to be afraid anymore. Not anymore.
Give Nicky a kiss, baby. Aren't you glad to see me?
The 14th floor this time. A floor that does exist. But the hands of the watch on Kitty's wrist still stand at 12 for... Murder at midnight. Remember to be with us again when the door marked Exit Only opens and the clocks strike 12 for Murder at Midnight. The part of Kitty was played by Ann Shepard, and Paul Mann was Nicky. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.
This I believe. Henry Ward started in life as a newspaperman. He worked as a cub reporter at the same desk that Irvin S. Cobb had used on the Paducah News-Democrat. His outstanding interest in civic affairs, however, soon propelled him into politics. As Kentucky representative, senator, and in his present post as Commissioner of Conservation, he has taken a leading part in the preservation of his native state's natural resources. Here is Henry Ward's creed.
The most important thing in life to me is the ability to say with complete sincerity, this I believe. Life without belief would be a life empty of meaning, dreary and disillusioning. I must have things to believe in, and it is most gratifying to me, and my life is made easier because I have many things in which I do believe. I believe that there is a certain pattern for life, intricately designed by God who is just, and so there is no necessity that I understand everything. It is enough that I have faith in the rightness of the pattern that has been set for us. I do not mean by this that I believe my life has been so predestined that there is nothing I can do to influence its course. If I follow what I know are the proper courses, the inevitable results that come from rightness will bring fulfillment and satisfaction to me. But faith in the rightness of God alone is not enough. The most miserable man I know is the one who believes that every other man is a liar and every woman is a cheat. I must have a measure of faith in my fellow man if I am to have a full life. A statement made by Vice President Barkley impressed me deeply. In our form of government, he said, the people I have tried to represent have had to put their trust in me. By the same token, I have had to put my trust in others. A willingness to put my trust in others is important to me. I have served with hundreds of persons in legislative bodies and in governmental offices over a period of 20 years, and I can count on the fingers of my hands the ones that I could not trust. All of my adult life I have been engaged in activities which have served the public, first as a newspaper man, then a state legislator and a public official. I make no claim that I have dedicated myself to the public good. There has been satisfaction to me in my activities. But that satisfaction could not have come if I had not been moved by a deep conviction that every individual has an inherent right to an opportunity to earn a richer life. We like to speak of the right of every person to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But we delude ourselves if we do not recognize that modern society has made the achievement of that right an uphill battle. Therefore, I find myself cheering when those who struggle and pursue organize themselves to gain their strength through unity. And I have faith in their right to do for themselves collectively, through their government, what they cannot do for themselves as individuals. Finally, I honestly believe that honesty is the best policy. There are rewards for the man who does an honest day's work. Honesty pays in business, and sheer, unadulterated honesty in personal dealings will pay dividends. I suppose that I really am saying that I have a high respect for old-fashioned honor. It's a great virtue. All of these things I believe, and I am glad that I do.
That was Henry Ward of Frankfort, Kentucky. He is State Commissioner of Conservation.
In the back booth of a dingy bar in the slum district, a well-dressed young man takes a thick package of banknotes from his pocket and passes it across the cigarette-scarred table to the shifty-eyed little man who sits across from him.
That's every cent I have in the world, Whitey. $6,000. I said 10. Where's the other $4 grand? I couldn't get any more.
You better get it. Remember that letter I told you about? If anything happens to me, that'll be in the hands of the DA within 24 hours. That'll be the end of you.
But why?
I'll meet you here tomorrow night, and you...
I can't come here again, Whitey. If anyone should see me...
Okay. I'll phone you at the office. Tell you where to bring it.
But why do
I get the other $4 grand tomorrow night? Or I go to the cops, and you go to the electric chair for murder.
Don, if there were any way I could raise the money for you, I would. You know that. Oh, I know, Chris. I wouldn't have asked you, except I've tried everything else. You're the only real friend I've got.
Sure. Now, when you need me, I can't come through.
Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Whitey phoned me about an hour ago. I promised to have the money at the corner of 1st and Water Streets at 1 o'clock tonight. I've got to have it there.
Why, Don? What's he got on you? You can tell me.
No, Chris, I don't want to talk about that. But if Whitey ever tells the cops who I really am, it's the end of everything. And that little rat's got me tied hand and foot.
You mean that letter to the district attorney?
Yes, but... Chris, do you think you could be lying about that letter? If I thought
now, Don, you're not getting any crazy ideas, are you?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. There's only one chance left. Yeah? Mr. Hughes gets back from Washington at 11 tonight.
You'll never get him to part with $4,000. If I know our beloved employer, he'll never...
But he's got to. It's my last hope.
What if he won't?
Then I'll be waiting for Whitey just the same. And it'll be a meeting he'll never forget.
Oh, it's you, sonny boy. So dark on that doorway, couldn't see you. Okay, where's the $4,000?
It's right here. Oh, no, you don't. Let go of that gun. Try and get the trap.
Good morning, Matty.
Oh, hiya, Nick. Hello, Patsy.
Good morning, Sergeant Matheson.
Mr. Hughes, this is Nick Carter and Patsy Bowen. How do you do?
Hello, Mr. Hughes.
Well, thank goodness you're here at last.
At last?
Well, Mr. Hughes, it's been exactly 17 minutes since Sergeant Madison phoned and asked us to come down here to your office.
I haven't even had my breakfast yet.
What's this all about?
Mr. Carter, my firm publishes children's and religious books. Notoriety, scandal, unfavorable publicity, anything like that can ruin us. You see, Nick, there was a murder in the waterfront district last night. Cheap little two-bit crook named Whitey Gear was shot to death. We found this slip of paper on Whitey's body.
What? Why, that looks like one of those slips of paper they have in phone booths for people to write phone numbers on.
That's what it is, Patsy. What's the connection, Matty?
The phone number written on that paper is the number of the Hughes Publishing House.
Oh, I see. Oh, hey, there's something else written here, too. Don Mason, 1 a.m., First Avenue and Water Street.
Right. And Whitey was found dead at the corner of First and Water, shot to death about 1 a.m., according to the medical examiner. So Don Mason...
Hey, wait a minute. Who is this Don Mason?
Oh, that, Mr. Carter, is the crux of the whole thing. Don Mason is my sales manager, and he's engaged to my daughter.
Oh, I see. And you think Mason kept the appointment with Whitey and murdered him, huh?
Well, of course, don't you?
I wouldn't know, Matty. This slip of paper with Mason's name on it certainly doesn't convince me.
What? I don't get you.
From what you tell me, I doubt that Whitey was the kind of man to make a memorandum about anything.
Oh, phooey. He did it this time, and that's all I care about, Nick.
Maybe. Look, Matty, has anybody else handled this piece of paper except you and me?
I know. I took it off the bottom myself. What?
Then let's put it in an envelope and see that no one else does touch it.
Uh-huh. Okay, if you want to. But there's another thing, Nick.
Yeah?
Whitey was a skinny little runt, but from the looks of things, he must have put up a whale of a fight before he was killed. We found a couple of gray wool threads under his fingernails, like from a gray tweed coat. And Whitey's coat was brown.
Oh. Then you think those threads came from the killer's coat during the struggle?
Sure, Patsy. What else?
Uh-huh.
And Mr. Hughes here tells me Don Mason wears a gray tweed coat.
And so do lots of other people, Matty.
You must understand, Mr. Carter, this company simply cannot afford to have one of its executives accused of murder. Now, I want you to prove that Don had nothing to do with this Whitey person.
But what if he did have?
Well, then we'll publicize the fact that Hughes Publishing hired the best detective it could get to see justice done, even though the culprit is one of our own executives. That may help some. Well, how about it, Carter?
Before I give you an answer, Mr. Hughes, I'd like to talk this over with Don Mason.
He hasn't come down to the office yet, Nick. I was just waiting for you to get here before going over to his apartment after him.
A good idea, Matty, except that he may leave for the office before we get to his place.
Oh, I have an idea. Don shares an apartment with my star salesman, Chris Bentley. I could phone Chris down to keep Don there until you arrive.
Yeah, suppose you do that, Mr. Hughes.
And unless he's got a mighty good alibi, that young fella's going to move to another apartment. A small one in the city jail.
Don. Don, wake up.
Oh, go away.
Wake up, you dope. Snap out of it. Oh, good morning, Chris. What's the matter? Old man Hughes just phoned that some people are coming to see you. He says to tell you to wait here until they arrive.
Okay.
Oh, I feel terrible. Don, where were you last night?
Huh?
Get with it, Don. You didn't get in until after I went to bed, and that was 3 o'clock. Where were you?
What? Oh, I don't know.
I can't remember. Did you get the money from old man Hughes?
Money? What money?
The money to pay off that blackmailer. Did you get it?
Good grief, why?
Yes, Whitey. Did you see him?
I can't remember whether I did or not.
You mean you had another one of those blackouts?
I guess I must have. Now, let's see. I remember eating dinner here at the apartment with you.
Yes, and afterwards I went out for a pack of cigarettes. But when I came back, you were gone. And so was that gun you keep in your dresser drawer.
What? Oh, Chris, no.
What did you do, Don? Why'd you take the gun? You've got to remember.
Oh, I can't. I can't remember anyway.
I went all over town looking for you, but you just disappeared.
Oh, from the way my head feels, I think I must have been in some bar, but I don't drink.
Wait a minute.
What are you doing?
Looking for your gun. Yeah, here it is in the pocket of your top coat. And Don, 3 bullets have been fired from it.
What do you mean, 3 bullets? It wasn't even loaded last time I saw it.
Well, it is now. John, are you sure you didn't meet that Whitey fella?
I don't know. I can't remember. Hey, maybe it's the police who are coming here. Maybe Whitey turned me in.
Now, get hold of yourself. We haven't much time.
What are you doing now?
I'm putting the gun on this little shelf over the door in the coat closet. Not much of a hiding place, but it'll have to do until we can get rid of it.
Chris, I won't let you get mixed up in this.
Don't be silly. Now get this. You never even heard of this Whitey person. You were here all last night. You never left the apartment, understand?
Yeah. I never left the apartment.
After dinner, you and I played gin rummy and listened to the radio until 3 a.m., and then we went to bed. You were here all last night. And I'll swear to it.
And you still say you didn't meet Whitey Gear at the corner of 1st and Water Streets last night, Mason?
No, I never even heard of the guy, Sergeant.
Then how come he had your name and phone number?
I don't know.
Can you prove where you were at 1 o'clock, Don?
I was right here in the apartment.
That's right, Mr. Carter. Don never stepped outside all last night.
You'll swear to that?
What? Well, sure I will. We played gin rummy till 3 a.m.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good alibi, Sergeant.
Yeah, if it holds up.
Frankly, Don, you don't look as though you'd spent a quiet evening at home. I'd say you were suffering from a pretty bad hangover.
Well, Mason, Whitey Gear was killed with a .38 revolver. You own such a gun?
No.
You own a gray tweed coat?
Yeah. Why?
Where is it?
Oh, it's in the closet, but...
All right.
Don! Oh, darling, Daddy said you were in some kind of trouble.
Don isn't in any trouble, Betty.
No, honey, it's all right.
Hey, wait a minute. Who's this?
Betty Hughes, Don's fiancée. Say, you're looking fine, Betty. That's a new hairdo, isn't it?
Of course not, Chris. But what did Daddy mean
I
by...
guess it's just because I haven't seen you for so long.
What are you talking about? You saw me only last night.
But what was that?
Chris came over to my house last night looking for Don. He said Don had disappeared, and he thought...
Well...
Don, something is wrong. Oh, you are in trouble, aren't you?
You bet he is, Miss Hughes. So he was with you every minute last night, was he, Chris?
Well, Now, look, Sergeant.
I'll talk to you later. Get your hat, Don. I'm taking you in for the murder of Whitey Gear.
Now, Matty, are you sure you have enough of a case to justify an arrest?
You bet I have, Nick. Why would he frame a phony alibi if he wasn't guilty?
Oh, Chris, if I'd only known.
I tried to tip you off, Betty, but I guess I was pretty clumsy about it.
You ready, Don?
Yeah. I got my hat. And I got this.
Where'd you get that gun?
Never mind. Just don't make me use it. Because if I do, somebody's going to get hurt.
Full of the fact that his action is practically a confession of guilt, Don stands near the door, holding Nick, Matty, and the others at the point of his gun. In just a moment, we'll back to the case of the Forgetful Killer. Today's adventure with Nick Carter, brought to you by new post-war Old Dutch Cleanser. Holding Nick, Matty, and the others at the point of his gun, Don stands beside the door to the inner room of the two-room apartment he shares with Chris.
Now, get into the bedroom, all of you.
Let's do as he says, Matty. No use anyone getting shot.
Thanks, Mr. Carter. I want to be sure nobody's going to... Don't be too sure.
Hey, keep your hand away from your gun, Sergeant.
Okay. You hurt, Nick?
No. Just got the wind knocked out of me when Don threw me. That was quite a stunt, Don.
I was a commando in the war. Now,
Anyone else want to try any smart tricks before I leave?
You're playing this awful dumb, kid.
I'm playing it the only way I can. Now I'm going to lock this bedroom door. And then I'm getting out of here. And heaven help anyone who tries to follow me.
So you both just stood there and let him walk out, did you? A fine pair of detectives you turned out to be.
They didn't just stand there. As soon as they heard the outside door close, Nick and Sergeant Matheson were after him.
Yeah, but by the time we got the door unlocked, he was out of sight.
He left his wallet in the dresser, along with some small change, keys, and so on. He won't get far without a cent in his pocket.
Yeah, he left that gray tweed coat, too. I sent it down to the police lab. And if those threads under Whitey Gear's fingernails came from that coat, we'll know it in a couple of hours, Nick. That young scoundrel. When I think of all I did for him.
What did you do for Don, Mr. Hughes?
Why, I gave him a job, didn't I? You even promoted him to be sales manager when he wasn't in line for the job, simply because Betty was in love with him. Well, I guess she sees a mistake now.
I doubt it. When a girl's in love...
Oh, love fiddlesticks. Before he came along, it was Chris. For him, somebody else.
How long has Don worked for you?
Ever since he came here from Toronto, 1942. He was just out of the Canadian Army. I thought I was being patriotic by helping a disabled veteran.
Disabled?
Yeah.
There wasn't anything disabled about the way he threw me clear across that room.
It was a head wound. That's why they discharged him from the Army. He used to have periods when he'd black out completely. He couldn't remember where he'd been or what he'd done for hours at a time, even days. That hasn't happened for a year or so now.
Well, according to Chris, it happened last night. That's why Chris tried to give him an alibi. He said whatever Don did, he wasn't responsible.
Oh, the guy's just getting ready for a plea of temporary insanity, Nick. But he won't get away with it.
Maybe he will, Matty. Unless you can prove the motive.
I'll prove the motive. Don't you worry about that. It seems to me the first thing you've got to do is catch him. Yeah, well, I'll do that, too. Every cop in town is on the lookout for him. And 5 will get you 10. We have him rounded up inside of 24 hours.
Hello?
Betty?
Don. Oh, Don, is that you?
Yes. Are you alone?
Yes. Oh, darling, where are you?
Never mind. Betty, I need help. And I don't dare try to get in touch with Chris. The cops are sure to be watching the apartment.
If there's anything I can do.
There is. I've got to have some money so I can get out of town. $200.
I'll get it. I'll bring it to you.
No, I won't let you take any chances. Give the money to Chris. Tell him I'll be waiting in the freight yards at the foot of 68th Street at midnight.
Hey, Nick. Nick, we've got it.
Got what, Matty?
The only thing that was missing in this case. The motive. Look at this letter.
Who's it from, Sergeant?
From Whitey Gear, that's who.
Whitey. And let's see.
There you are. He was afraid Don might try to knock him off, so he left this with a friend to be mailed to the district attorney in case anything happened to him. DA got it in the mail about an hour ago.
What are those newspaper clippings, Nick?
I don't know yet. Dated Portland, Oregon, 1939.
It's all there, even a picture of Don Mason. His real name is Jimmy Burke, and he's wanted for murder.
Murder?
Yeah, Patsy. He was mixed up with a juvenile gang in Portland that robbed a warehouse and shot the night watchman.
And Don was the one who killed him?
That's what this clipping says.
Oh.
The gun that killed the watchman was positively identified as belonging to Don.
He must have escaped into Canada and joined the army there under the name of Mason, huh?
You wire Portland for confirmation, Matty?
Sure I did. No answer yet, Nick.
Hey. Look at the handwriting on this note that was with the clipping.
What about it?
Well, that's Whitey Gear's handwriting. At least his name is signed to it.
So what?
Well, it's nothing like the handwriting on that memo you found in his pocket.
Why, Nick, you're right.
Hey. Maybe Don wrote down the time and place he wanted to meet Whitey and then gave it to him.
No, I don't think so, Matty. I have a hunch that memo was planted.
Yeah? Well, the laboratory boys tested those gray threads under Whitey's fingernails, Nick. And they're definitely from Don Mason's coat. It's an airtight case.
Yeah, sure. You seem to have everything except a prisoner. You haven't found any trace of Don yet, have you?
No. He won't make a move until after dark. But like you said, he's got to have money. Probably he'll try to get it from Chris. And I've got all my men around that apartment.
I don't think he'll go back to the apartment, Matty.
What?
My hunch is he'll try to contact Betty Hughes.
Hey, maybe you're right. Well, I'll just plant some of the boys around the Hughes house, too.
You won't have to, Matty. I phoned Walter McGlynn. He's watching the place now.
Oh, well, okay. Then we got him, no matter which way he jumped.
Oh, I think I'll go on home, Nick. It's been a long day.
Yeah, it's almost midnight.
I know, but I wanted to stick around the office.
Hold it. Nick Carter speaking. Oh, Waldo.
Huh?
What? I see. Where'd she meet him?
Betty met Don somewhere?
No, she met Chris.
Uh-oh.
Where? Why, that's the freight yard.
Nick, what's happened?
Good boy, Waldo. We'll get right on it.
Nick, what is it?
Betty just met Chris in a cafeteria on the east side and gave him a roll of bills.
The getaway money for Don.
That's what Waldo figured, so he trailed Chris out of the cafeteria and heard him tell a cab driver he wanted to go to the foot of East 68th Street.
So that's what you meant when you said the freight yards.
Yeah. Chris just left a couple of minutes ago. We hurry, maybe we can get there first.
That was Chris ahead of us. I know it was.
Yeah, I got a good look at him when he passed under the light. Where'd he go to?
Maybe he went around the other side of this boxcar.
There are a couple of 100 boxcars in this part of the yard. You can stop right where you are, Carter.
Don!
Thank heaven we found you, Don. I was afraid you did.
Chris? Yeah, Don? Get he's done. Okay.
Now, wait a minute, Chris. You're in trouble already. You help him now, that's going to make you equally guilty.
Well, what can I do, Mr. Carter? Don's making me do this at the point of a gun. Aren't you, Don?
Sure I am.
You got it? You bet.
Don, listen to me. Don't be a fool. You give yourself up, I think I can prove you're innocent.
Innocent? But I'm not. I killed Whitey because he was blackmailing me. I must have.
Do you remember killing him?
Oh, no, I don't remember anything that happened last night. But
I don't think you did kill him, Don. In fact, I'm positive you didn't.
Don't listen to him, Don. It's a trick.
Look, Don, there's only one person who knew where and when you were going to meet Whitey. Only one person who could have drugged you.
Drugged me?
Yes, drugged you. That's why you thought you had a hangover this morning.
Well, that's it.
This person drugged you, then kept your appointment with Whitey wearing your gray tweed coat.
Chris, it was you. Okay, let's quit playing games. You met Whitey. You met Whitey and you killed him. If you don't drop your gun, stupid, I'm going to use this gun I took from Carter.
Okay.
Now you're being sensible.
But I don't get it. You were my friend. I trust you.
Sure, I was your friend. I didn't mind a bit when you got the sales manager's job I should have had. And I was tickled to death when you took my girl away from me.
So that's it.
Sure. With you out of the way, I'll be the new sales manager. And I'll be the boss's son-in-law, too. Someday I'll own the whole business.
You're going to have to work awfully fast to do all that before you go to the chair for killing Whitey, aren't you, Chris?
Who's going to send me to the chair? Not any of you three. Because when Carter and Don get through fighting it out, I'm afraid there won't be any survivors.
What are you talking about?
It'll be easy, Carter. I've got your gun to shoot Don with, and then I'll take his gun to finish off you and Miss Bowen.
Chris, you're crazy.
The cops will think Carter tried to arrest you, and you shot it out.
Why, that's ridiculous. Someone will hear the shot.
That freight engine is going to pass on the other side of this boxcar in a few seconds. It'll make enough noise to cover anything, even gunshots.
With a passing freight engine to cover the sound of gunfire, Chris's finger tightens on the trigger. We'll see what happens in just a moment. Now for the conclusion of the case of the Forgetful Killer. Today's adventure with Nick Carter. Brought to you by new post-war Old Dutch Cleanser. In the freight yards at the foot of 68th Street, Chris Bentley is holding Nick, Patsy, and Don Mason at the point of a gun, waiting only for the noise of an approaching engine to cover the sound of his shot before he fires.
Here's the engine. So get ready. You first, Don, old pal.
Sergeant Matheson.
Yes, you want me to punch this Tommy gun lower than this time.
About time you got here, Matty.
I started as soon as I got your phone call, Nick.
You're not going to take me in?
Nick, he's getting away.
Not so fast, chum. There. That'll hold you for a while.
Good work, Don.
Holy mackerel, Don.
What did you do to him? Didn't you recognize that stunt, Matty? It's the same one he used on me. And I can tell you from experience that Chris isn't going to do any more running away. Not for a minute or two.
Well, I can't thank you enough for what you did, Nick. But, well, I guess it wasn't much use. They'll only send me back to Oregon to stand trial for the killing that night, killing the night watchman back in 39.
Oh, no, they won't, Don. Sergeant Madison wired the Oregon police about you, and they wired back that the charge had been dropped.
That's right, Don. About a year later, the real killer was caught. Did he confess?
For the love of peace.
You were completely cleared.
But if Chris wanted to get rid of me, why did he kill Whitey to do it? Well, for all he knew, he only had to sit tight and let Whitey turn me in.
He said you were going to Mr. Hughes for the money, and he was afraid you might get it.
And he couldn't turn you in himself because you wouldn't tell him what Whitey had on you, or even what your real name was.
Yeah, that's right. But even after he killed Whitey, to make sure the DA got that letter, Chris tried to give me an alibi. Oh, it just doesn't make sense.
Well, that was only a part of his scheme to put himself in a good light with Betty Hughes. He knew that alibi wouldn't stand up.
In fact, he made sure it wouldn't stand up by going to a dozen places looking for you. He knew someone would remember that he'd said you disappeared and couldn't be found.
And to think you figured the whole thing out from that piece of paper with my name on it. And the time and the place where I was supposed to meet Whitey.
Oh, just a minute, Don. That's not quite true. That slip of paper looked a bit phony to me, but that was all.
When Chris tried to incriminate you by putting that piece of paper in Whitey's pocket, he was actually furnishing the evidence that was going to convict him.
Well, how do you mean?
He forgot a very important thing. Fingerprints.
Fingerprints?
Yes. Whitey's fingerprints weren't on that paper. So obviously he couldn't have written it.
But Chris's fingerprints were all over it.
Wow, he did forget something important, didn't he?
Uh-huh. But, say, Nick, you didn't know about those things until an hour ago. Why were you so sure Don was innocent?
I became convinced the minute he threw me across the room at his apartment.
What'd that have to do with it?
Well, Whitey was a scrawny little fellow. Yet Matty said he put up quite a fight before he was killed.
Oh, I see what you mean. If Don could put you flat on your back in 2 seconds, a little guy like Whitey would have been licked before he started.
Right, Patsy. Well, this is the first time in my memory that a man has made a friend of me by knocking me down.
How about the adventure new post?
This I believe. The test of a good judge lies not in his legalistic knowledge alone. The Honorable Herbert E. Millen, judge of the Philadelphia Municipal Courts, has to be something of a philosopher as well in executing his duties as a jurist. Here, against that background of experience, he gives his personal convictions.
I find that a courtroom is a place which constantly taxes one's beliefs in life and humanity. The boy who robbed a service station knew it was wrong, but he did it anyway. The mother who abandoned her children in a coal flat while she went to a dance was sorry, but she would probably do it again. The list is endless. The misdeeds and misfortunes crowded into a court calendar often seem to make a mockery of the things we have been taught to regard as virtuous and good. Nevertheless, I am something of an optimist. I still believe that man is basically a positive creature, capable of great things beyond himself. It is ironic, perhaps, but it usually takes a disaster to bring out the best in people. Invariably in a flood or famine or in the midst of war, we become a little more human, a little more brotherly toward our immediate neighbors. That proves, I think, that a potential of decency exists in us, but the constant strain of living can easily obscure that potential. People are fallible and weak. When I was a boy, I remember there was a rocking chair in our house I kept tripping over. Every time I would turn around and give it a vicious kick. Once, after I had nearly broken my foot, I realized that I wasn't hurting anybody but myself. I think it is important to discover and admit one's own imperfections. Then it is easier to understand and endure them in somebody else. Inevitably, I am sensitive to prejudice. I appreciate now that prejudice is a childish thing, as senseless a reaction as kicking a chair, but it does exist. It is a cause of artificial differences which separate people. However, these differences are worn down as people come to know each other. Strangers thrown together come to know themselves for what they are, not for what they thought they were. It has been my observation that no matter who they are, or where they come from, or what they look like, people do respond to kindness and understanding. Therein lies my belief that an operable brotherhood of humans, while still a long way off, can be achieved if we can train ourselves to think and act, first of all, as human beings, not just as members of a certain group, race, creed, or even nationality. There is no use denying that I sometimes become impatient and discouraged at the slowness of progress along these lines. When I do, I am frank to say that I find support in my religious beliefs. There is too much lip service being given to Christian ideals these days, and that applies both inside church and out. But I have yet to find a sounder code of ethics and behavior than the Sermon on the Mount, or a more reassuring message than the 23rd Psalm. When I come across a familiar passage in the Bible, it is like getting a letter from my mother when I am away in a strange place. It is a friendly and recognizable message, and it makes me feel calm and warm. I cannot analyze all the reasons for this, but that does not bother me. The experience of comfort is no less real, and I need it in order to face the harshness of reality.
You have heard the beliefs of Judge Herbert E. Millen, who happens to be the first Negro in the history of the city of Philadelphia to be elevated to the bench. He is president of Philadelphia's Mercy Douglas Hospital, a trustee of Lincoln University, his alma mater, in Chester County, Pennsylvania, and a member of the General Council of the Presbyterian Church of the United States. An impressive roster of activities. But more impressive still, perhaps, is the fact that he is an instance where a man and his community have both risen high enough to clear the artificial barriers of prejudice, which, as Judge Millen says, too often keep people from working and living harmoniously together.
Night Beat.
Hi, this is Randy Stone. I cover the night beat for the Chicago Star. Stories start in many different ways. This one started with a girl and a full load of hate. You can't beat that combination for trouble.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
Sure, I've been known to complain about working the night beat, but just between you and me, I wouldn't trade with anyone. You see, I've got a theory about people at night. I think they look different and they act different. When the sun goes down, something happens inside. Something changes in the head and the heart of a man. I guess science would call it human chemistry. I call it human nature. In the dark of night, people are more vulnerable to romance, hate, and temptation. A shy guy makes love. A pillar of roaring virtue gets roaring drunk. A coward beats his wife. Men plot to steal, and they do steal. They plot to kill, and they kill. By day, face the facts, the old well-known cold, clear light of day. Let the sunshine boys face the facts. I'll see them in the making. You know, tracking down stories is a weird business. One night I'll find a yarn right off sitting out in the open staring at me. Another night, I'll have to stalk the town like a bird dog. Tonight I didn't want a story, I wanted a beer. So I went into Louie's saloon and drew myself a glass fresh out of the tap. I was sitting there staring at her when she walked in and climbed up on the stool next to me. This little dame with the scared blue eyes.
I've been looking for you all night.
Oh, what took you so long?
I went to a lot of places. Almost gave it up, and a kid I know sells papers said you might be in here.
You mean you were looking for me in particular?
You're Randy Stone, aren't you?
Yeah.
I was looking for you in particular.
Oh, you want a beer? Louie's in the back. I'll draw you one.
No, thanks. I want to talk to you. Private.
Well, right here is good. We're alone. Everyone seems to be nowhere tonight. Now, what are we going to talk about?
You're a reporter on the Chicago Star, aren't you, Mr. Stone?
Well, at the moment, my position with the Star is of minor importance.
What do you mean?
Nothing. Drop the Mr. Make it Randy. What do I call you?
Mary.
Well, yes, Mary, I am a reporter on the Chicago Star. Now, what's your story?
That's what I want to talk to you about. I've got a story.
Honey, you don't know it, but I've been waiting for you. Start talking. I'm listening hard.
It's not for free. I got to get paid for it.
Oh, well, that... this calls for music. Wait till I put a nickel in this thing. Sure you don't want a beer?
No, thanks.
I don't buy stories.
I think you'll buy this one.
Yeah, for how much?
$500.
$500? Look, Mary, you're a cute kid, but you're a dreamer. I don't make that much in a month. If you know who killed Cock Robin, I couldn't pay $500 for the story.
You could if I knew who killed Marty Crane.
Marty Crane, the gambler? I didn't know that he'd been killed.
Neither does anyone else.
Not even the police?
No.
Well, don't you think you ought to tell them? That's the kind of story they get real interested in.
Yeah, but they wouldn't pay me for it. I need $500, bad. They wouldn't give it to me, but you will. It'll mean a lot to the Star to get the story first. Mean a lot to you, too.
I haven't got $500.
You could get it from your paper.
You're crazy. Marty Crane dead? I don't believe it.
Okay, forget it.
All right, wait a minute. Let's not get sore. Maybe you better fill me in a little.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, all right, point number one. If nobody else knows Marty Crane is dead, how do you? And if you do, where's your proof?
I'll take you to him. You'll see him yourself. He'll be dead.
Well, that's pretty good proof. Murdered?
Yes, murdered.
And you'll tell me who did it?
I won't just tell you. I'll show you who did it.
Somebody come in?
Never mind, it's all right.
Oh, it's you, Randy. Okay.
You know, I could go to the police and tell them what you've told me. They'd find Crane's body, and I'd get the story for nothing.
And so would every other newspaper in town.
Yeah. Well, say I did get the $500, and say you did prove Marty Crane had been murdered. I'd have to call the police then.
I know.
And if you told me who killed him, I'd have to spill that, too.
You can do anything you want. After you give me the money.
And when I do that?
After I give you Crane and his murderer.
I see.
It's got to be cash.
Now, you don't look like the kind of a girl who'd sell somebody out for dough. You must have a big hate on.
Only one person I hate. Marty Crane.
You know, you don't make sense. If you hate Crane, why rat on the guy that killed him?
I need the money.
You must need it awful bad.
You want to buy or don't you?
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't got $500, but like you said, I could get it. Maybe. I need some time.
You've got till midnight.
It won't take me that long. Let's make it an hour.
All right. I'll wait for you. Right here.
Randy Stone with rocks for brains. That's what I was thinking as I headed out of Louie's saloon. At the door, I turned around and looked at her, and something hurt in my throat. She looked like a little kid on that big, tall bar stool with her knees pulled up and her chin tucked under. All she needed was a dunce cap on her head. Or was I the one that raided the cap? Marty Crane was a crook and a louse. That innocent-looking little dame wanted to sell out the killer of a louse for $500. It didn't make sense. But I worked for a living, and if her story were true, we could scoop the town. It'd be worth $500. If. I had to weigh that big fat if against my job. I couldn't risk the paper's money on her word. I needed more to go on. Needed to protect my bet. I went down to police headquarters for a chat with Kowski.
Yeah, but you know as much about the heel as we do. Why all the sudden interest in Marty Crane?
Well, who knows, Kowski? Call it a hunch, maybe a rumor. I thought there might be something cooking with Crane.
Well, if there is, we don't know about it.
You know anybody that'd like to get rid of him?
Plenty of people, including yours truly. To quote the old man, Crane is a blot on the department's escutcheon, if you know what that means.
I knew it sounds profane.
He's slick like oil, this guy. One day he'll lose off in the wrong direction. We'll remove the blot. We'd have done it a couple of months ago. It hadn't been for Leonard Palmer.
Leonard Palmer?
You don't know him?
Oh, yeah, sure. He's a lawyer.
He's a magician.
He defended Crane on a murder charge, didn't he?
Yeah, the Callahan boy. Crane shot him. Palmer got him off on a self-defense.
Oh, yes, I remember. They had to fumigate the courtroom after that trial. Well, thanks for the rundown, Kowski.
Oh, stick around. This place is like a mall.
No, I can't do it. But if my hunch pans out, that's probably where I'll see you later. At the morgue. The next move I made was so simple and logical that I gave myself a 0 for not doing it in the first place. I found a phone booth and called Marty Crane's apartment. I want to talk to Marty Crane.
He ain't in.
Are you sure?
I said he ain't in, which means he ain't in.
You don't know where I can catch him, do you?
Who wants to know?
A friend of his. It's important.
I don't know where he is.
Now, listen, I got to get in touch with him. For his sake, it's important.
I said I don't know where he is, which means I don't know where he is.
Well, can you think of any place he might be?
I don't know of no place.
You know anybody I might call that might know where he is?
I don't know of nobody.
Oh, you're a big help. Just tell me this. When did you last see him? How long ago?
Look, kid, I'm just a houseboy around here. I ain't the information window. If you got questions to ask, call his lawyer. Ask him anything you want, but don't ask me. I don't know nothing, which means I don't know nothing.
I gave myself another 0, but at least I'd gotten an idea from that fountain of information. I went through the book for Leonard Palmer's address. It was a very expensive address. The carpet sunk up to my ankles, but I made it across the room and eased into a lush-tight sofa, one of those short deals they call a love seat. While I was sitting there, I wondered why.
Can I make you a drink?
No, thank you. It's a very fancy layout you've got here, Mr. Palmer. Very fancy.
I find law practice quite profitable.
Yeah, you've caught the hang of it, all right.
What can I do for you, Mr. Stone?
Tell me where to find Marty Crane.
Oh, is he lost?
Well, I don't know. I'm looking for him. His apartment said I should try you.
His apartment made an error. As you can see, he's not here.
But maybe you know where he is.
I don't know what gave you that idea.
Well, you're his lawyer.
Precisely. However, my duties as such do not include that of nursemaid.
Let's get nasty.
I'm sorry you get that impression. If I were looking for Mr. Crane at this time of night, I'd try his various nightclubs.
Like which ones?
I believe he owns several. The Red Dot, the Coronet. Oh, I really couldn't say. I'm afraid I can't be of any help to you at all.
If I told you that I thought something had happened to Marty Crane, would that change your attitude?
Not in the least.
You went to a lot of trouble to save his neck on that Callahan murder. Seems like you'd want to protect your efforts.
I was paid for my efforts.
It wouldn't bother you if I said maybe Crane was dead?
Not in the least. As an individual, he means nothing to me. Few people do. My main interest is money, and I'm free to admit it.
Know anybody that would want to kill him?
I dare say there are many people.
You included?
I? That's ridiculous. I'd lose a client. It would necessitate rearranging my income tax returns. Any more questions, Mr. Stone?
No more questions. I wanted answers to my questions, and I couldn't get any. I called nightclubs Crane owned, and some he didn't. No one had seen him. No one knew where he was, or if they did, they wouldn't say. Mary's story was beginning to smell true. Time was getting close, and I headed for the office. Now, I had to do the impossible. I had to get blood out of a turnip. A two-legged turnip named Hastings, my master, my dearly beloved managing editor.
$500? You are out of your mind.
Oh, what have we got to lose?
Your job. This is a newspaper. You're paid to find stories, not to buy them.
Now, listen, this is big. If it works, we'll scoop everybody.
If it works.
I've been all over town. Nobody has seen Crane. Everybody gives me the runaround. My hunch is strong that she's telling the truth. And look, if she doesn't produce, I don't give her the money. You'll get it back. How can you beat a deal like that?
Okay, Randy, okay. So I'll give you the $500, but it's against my principles. If you ever let it get around, I'll have you drawn and quartered.
Yes, sir, and thank you. I don't know what to say. I'm touched.
No, I am. I'm also an idiot.
I wouldn't say.
We endeavor to maintain a schedule around here. Our jobs are more secure, and everyone is much happier when the paper comes out on time. I hate to bother you with humdrum, but it's late.
I know you told me.
Bylines are a dime a dozen.
I hear you. Just give me the dough. I'll be back with my story on time, or I'll kill myself. How's that?
Oh, that seems fair and reasonable. I like your attitude.
He's a lovely guy, Hastings. He's so dependable. If he says he's going to break your neck, you can depend on it. I'd stuck my neck out for breaking, and I knew it. How I got the $500 out of that heart of gold, I'll never know. But I had it, cash in my pocket. And if you don't think I was worried, you're crazy. I ran all the way back to Louis' saloon. When I got there, a drunk was hanging on the jukebox. Louis was behind the bar. In front of the bar, nobody.
That's
the matter, Randy? You don't look so good.
That girl that was here, where is she, Louie?
Yeah, she left about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she told me to be sure and tell you something. What the heck was it?
Yeah, Louie, what the heck was it?
Oh, she said to tell you she's coming back. She said, tell him I'll meet him here at exactly 10 minutes to 12.
10 minutes to 12? I can't wait that long.
Yeah, she must have it bad for this dame.
I'd like to boil her in oil. I got a deadline to meet. It won't wait. I staked my job on that little dame.
All right, Louie. I'm all out of nickels.
Don't bother me.
If I could only find her, Louie, I'd find her. I don't even know her name.
It's Callahan.
Huh?
Mary Callahan.
You know her?
Sure. She's a nice kid, so don't yap about her in my saloon. I used to be friends with her brother, Danny Callahan. Got shot a couple of months ago.
Wait a minute. Say that again. This girl's the sister of Danny Callahan?
Yeah.
The Danny Callahan that was shot by Marty Crane?
I and a lot of other people around here say he was murdered by Mary Crane. Smart lawyer got him off on self-defense.
Yeah. I know that story. I also know I got to find that girl. She's walking around somewhere with my future in her mean little hands.
NBC is bringing you Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone. The chimes are ringing and laughing in anticipation of the riotous antics promised by two favorites in your NBC fall lineup. The first is Bob Hope, and he returns to the air over most of these NBC stations on Tuesday, October 3rd, with more laughs and timely satire in the unique rapid-fire Hope style. The day after Bob Hope's return, the hilarious quiz game You Bet Your Life makes its NBC debut, featuring that master of the ad-lib and clever quip, Groucho Marx. Bob Hope, October 3rd, and Groucho Marx, October 4th. And now back to Night Beat and Randy Stone.
I was in the soup, and it was hot, and I didn't like it. If Mary Callahan was telling the truth, if Marty Crane really had been murdered, some other people were sure to smell out the story while I was cooling my heels in Louie's bar. My editor would scream like a banshee, and I'd be sweating out unemployment, all because I took the word of a little blue-eyed stool pigeon who promised to sell out Marty Crane's murderer for $500. I had the $500 in my pocket. I think I must have put my brains in my pocket, too. Louie stood there watching me burn.
I don't get you, Randy. What are you sore at Mary about? Like I told you, she's a nice kid.
Maybe you don't know her like I do.
What did she do to you?
She welched on a deal. She said she'd wait for me right here.
She said she'd be back. I told you that. She'll be back.
At midnight.
10 hours.
Well, I can't wait. I got a deadline to beat. No story.
It's barely an hour till midnight, Randy.
You don't know how mad Hastings can get in an hour. Some other paper scoops me out on that story. I'm a has-been. Oh, that dame, I could kill her.
I repeat, she's a nice kid.
Yeah. Look, Louie. This brother of hers that Marty Crane shot. Mary like him?
Sure. She was crazy about him.
It's unbelievable.
What do you mean? He was a nice guy.
I don't mean that. I mean, it's unbelievable what some people will do for money.
I don't follow your conversation.
Well, don't try. I got to find that girl. Any idea where she'd go?
I don't know. Maybe she went home.
Where's home? You know where she lives?
Yeah, but in the mood you're in, I don't know if I ought to tell you.
Come on, Louie. I won't hit her. I'd like to, but for you, I'll skip the pleasure. I give you my word. After some gentle but firm persuasion, Louie took my word and gave me her address. I didn't have any trouble with the carpets in that place. There weren't any. Up 4 flights of stairs, it groaned and shuddered with every step. The light in the hall was so dim I had to strike a match to read the number on the door. It checked with the one Louie gave me, so I knocked. I heard someone shuffle across the room inside. The door opened. A little old woman stood there peering at me. Before she even said anything, just the look in her eyes told me that everything wasn't quite right with her.
I can't see you very well. Are you someone I know?
I'm afraid not. I'm looking for Mary Callahan.
Are you a friend of Mary's?
Well, yes. Is she here?
I'm Mary's mother. Won't you come inside?
Oh, thank you. My name is Randy Stone, Mrs. Callahan. I'm sorry to call so late.
Please sit down.
No, thank you. Really, I can't stay. I just wanted to speak to Mary. Is she home?
I'm worried about Mary. Are you a friend of Danny's?
No, I didn't know Danny.
Oh, that's too bad. Danny was such a nice boy to know.
I'm very anxious to see Mary, Mrs. Callahan. Isn't she here?
No.
You have any idea where I can find her?
Did you say you knew Danny?
No, I didn't know Danny.
Danny's dead, you know. I expect you read about him in the papers.
Yeah.
It wasn't true. Danny couldn't have tried to kill anyone. Not Danny. It was the lawyer that made people think he did. What was that lawyer's name?
Palmer. Leonard Palmer.
Yes, of course, Leonard Palmer. He's not dead, is he? He's a very clever man. What was it you wanted to know about Mary?
I'm trying to find her. I've got to talk to her.
She was here.
When? How long ago?
Not long. She only stayed a minute.
Do you know where she went?
That's the picture of Danny right there. He is a fine-looking boy, isn't he?
Yes, you bet he is.
Yes. And he was a brave boy. He knew things about Marty Crane. That's why Crane shot him. Then that lawyer made everybody believe that Danny had tried to shoot him first. Such a clever man. What was his name?
Please, Mrs. Callahan, did Mary say where she was going?
She said she had an appointment with someone at 12 o'clock, and if she was late, I shouldn't worry. But I am worried.
Well, the appointment was with me. I was hoping I could catch her before then.
Oh, that's too bad. Maybe she's still at Mr. Green's.
Mr. Green's?
I remember she said something about going by Mr. Green's to pick up something. My memory isn't very good since then.
Where is Mr. Green's?
There's a pawn shop down the street. That's where Danny was killed, you know. Mr. Green's pawn shop.
Mr. Green's pawn shop was closed up and dark, but way in the back I could see a sliver of light under the door. I made a lot of racket with the front door, and finally the one in back opened, and Mr. Green came staggering towards me. At first, I thought he was drunk. But when he let me in, I got a good look at him. I knew different. He'd been beaten half to death.
Who are you? What do you want?
Well, you better sit down. You don't look like you're going to make it. Who did this to you?
Nobody. I don't know. I don't know anything.
You didn't beat yourself up like that. Who did it?
What do you want here? Who are you?
I'm looking for Mary Callahan. Her mother said she was coming here.
I was afraid maybe you...
Go on. Afraid maybe I was what?
No, Mary was here a little while ago.
I keep on just missing. She didn't say where she was going, did she?
No, she didn't say anything about that, I remember. All I remember, she told me after tonight, I won't have to worry anymore. I won't have to be afraid.
Afraid of what?
You're not from the police, are you? No.
I told you, Mrs. Callahan sent me here. I'm looking for Mary. Why don't you tell me what happened to you? Who beat you up? What are you afraid of?
They tell me to leave town or I'll get worse next time. How can I leave? I've never been anyplace else. Where would I go?
Who is they?
Marty Crane's boys.
Marty Crane? What have you got to do with him? Oh, wait a minute. He shot Danny Callahan here in your shop, didn't he?
Yeah, he murdered Danny right here in this room. And I seen him do it, but I couldn't tell. He said he would kill me if I did. But I don't care anymore. I might as well get it over with. Might as well be dead as the way I am. Where could I go?
Now, you listen to me. You try to pull yourself together. You're going to be all right, I promise you. Now, right now, I've got to know if Marty Crane did this to you. Was he here tonight? Did you see him?
No, maybe he was. 3 or 4, maybe
was
4.
Was Crane one of them? I've got to know.
It happened so fast he might have been, but I don't know. I can't remember.
I got the poor old guy to bed and went back to Louie's place. I didn't know what else to do. It was 20 to 12 and I was nowhere. I called Hastings. He gave me what was left of his mind. Either I got right in there with a story or I needn't bother to get in at all. Somehow I didn't care much. I kept thinking about that poor, crazy Mrs. Callahan and Danny and that old beaten man. Louis poured me a beer, and I was wondering how I could drown myself in it when a cab pulled up in front and Mary Callahan got out. She stood at the door and motioned me to come outside.
Well, did you get the money?
Yes, I got it.
Cash?
Yeah, but you're a little late.
What do you mean? You're not going to back out. Not now, you can't.
I'm all out of time. I got a deadline to beat. I staked my job on your story.
I've staked my life on it. You'll have your story in 10 minutes. I swear you will. Please get in the cab.
All of a sudden, I don't know if I want the story, job or no job.
What are you giving me?
I went out looking for you tonight. I found a lot of things that are hard to believe, like your mother and a little guy named Green.
You're wasting time.
I guess my guts aren't as strong as yours, but after what I've seen, I think anybody who would kill Marty Crane is a hero. I don't get you at all. Your mother's half off her head, your own brother is dead, and you tell who killed a skunk like Crane for a lousy $500.
I don't care what you think of me. I didn't ask you to like me. That wasn't in the deal. I said I proved Crane was dead, and I tell you who killed him. You said you'd pay me $500 for it. I'm ready to keep my word. Now, what are you going to do?
Okay. Go on, get in the cab. The cab took us to one of Crane's nightclubs, the Coronet Club. I followed Mary upstairs to an office with a door marked private. She told me to wait, and she went over and knocked on the door. I heard a girl laughing as the door opened, and there stood the dead man. Marty Crane himself in person, alive and leering.
Well, Mary Callahan, right on time.
Yeah, right on time.
You know, I was surprised when you called, said you wanted to see me. I'm even more surprised you kept our appointment. But pleasantly so. Come on in, dear.
Won't it be crowded? Well, I wanted to see you alone.
Yes, of course. Doris was just leaving, weren't you, darling?
Oh, but naturally. You say so, darling. It's all yours, honey. Just hope you're fleet-footed.
That's enough, Doris. I'll call you later, maybe.
I won't hold my breath.
Shall we go inside?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I don't get it.
Oh. Hello.
No, hello.
What can I do for you?
Oh, not a thing.
Oh, it's too bad. You looking for somebody up here?
No, not anymore. That was Marty Crane I just saw, wasn't it?
Sure was.
Would you say there was anything dead about him?
Oh, Marty dead?
Oh.
Oh, no, not Marty. I'm dead about him. He's the life of the party, that guy. Almost too alive to suit me. He's... What's going on around
Get
here?
out of my way, will you?
For crying out loud, what's going on?
Mary.
Yeah.
Mary, you crazy kid.
There's your story, Randy Stone. He's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, he's dead.
And it's plain to see who did it, isn't it?
Why, Mary? Why did you do it?
I had to. Somebody had to. I've been wanting to even up with him for a long time. But I had to have that $500 first. I had a hard time figuring out how to get it. But it's mine now, isn't it?
What good is it going to do you now?
It's going to save my neck. The same way he saved his when he killed Danny. It was self-defense. Nobody saw it happen. Leonard Palmer is a very clever man. He can prove it was self-defense, and I've got his price. $500. Cash. In advance.
Well, I'll make my deadline. We'll scoop the town. Hastings is a happy man, but I'm not. I wonder who's going to have to tell Mary that she's not going to get away with it. I don't like the story. I wish it had never happened. But it's written, and a lot of people will read it, and in a couple of weeks it'll be forgotten. Only I'll remember, and I'll always wish I'd known first what was really going on behind those scared blue eyes. Copy, boy.
Just a minute, Frank. You know we have a distinguished newspaper woman here as our guest tonight.
I certainly do, Don. Miss Agnes Underwood, the only woman city editor of a metropolitan newspaper in the entire United States.
Not only is she the city editor of the Los Angeles Herald Express, Frank, but Miss Underwood has also written a book.
I know that, too. It's called Newspaper Woman, telling about her own experiences as a reporter. Welcome to radio, Miss Underwood. It's an honor to share a microphone with you.
Thank you, Frank. But tonight I'm the one who's handing out the honors.
Oh?
Sincerely, Frank, on behalf of Theta Sigma Phi, National Fraternity for Women in Journalism, may I present you with this scroll and our compliments for your honest and convincing portrayal of a newspaperman on this show, Night Beat. Also, honors from the profession to both you and Miss Patricia Neal for your portrayals of a newspaperman and newspaperwoman in the Warner Brothers motion picture, Three Secrets.
Well, thank you, Miss Underwood. Thank you very much.
And Frank, that's Aggie to a co-worker.
Okay, Aggie. And I know Pat Neal will be just as thrilled as I am with the award.
Good night, Frank.
Good night, Aggie.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy, is produced and directed by Warren Lewis and edited by Larry Marcus. Tonight's story was written by Marty Wilkinson, with music by Frank Worth. Portions were transcribed. The part of Mary was played by Betty Moran. Others in tonight's cast were Peggy Weber, Larry Dobkin, Lou Krugman, Jack Crucian, and Stan Waxman. Frank Lovejoy will next be seen in Milton Sperling's production Three Secrets, released by Warner Brothers. Listen next week at this time and every week as Randy Stone searches through the city for the strange stories waiting for him in the darkness. Night Beat came to you from Hollywood. Three chimes mean good times on NBC. The chimes ring for two favorites returning to the NBC Tuesday night lineup tomorrow. Fibber McGee and Molly will be back at 79 Wistful Vista with all their delightful guests. And Art Linkletter returns with a host of contestants ready and willing to prove that people are funny. That's McGee and Molly and People Are Funny, tomorrow night. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
This I believe. There is never any scarcity of politicians, but statesmen are few and far between. New York's former governor and present U.S. Senator Herbert H. Lehman classifies in our book in the latter category. He is never afraid to speak his mind and has something both pertinent and courageous to say on public matters or private ones, such as this.
So many things affect a man's philosophy and his life that I find it difficult to put into words my personal beliefs. I hesitate to speak of them publicly for fear of giving the appearance of preaching. Two convictions, however, I believe have more than any others influenced my thinking both in private and in public life. First, commonplace as it may sound, I am convinced that what we get out of life is in direct proportion to what we put into it. Second, I must respect the opinions of others, even if I disagree with them. Throughout my long and rather busy career, I have always held firmly to the belief that I owe life as much as it owes to me. If that philosophy is sound, and I believe that it is, it applies, I hope, to all of my activities, to my home, to my daily work, to my politics, and above all things, to my relationships to others. Life is not a one-way street. What I do, what I say, even what I think, inevitably has a direct effect on my relationships with others. I am certain that in the degree that my attitude towards others has given convincing proof of loyalty, sincerity, honesty, courtesy, and fairness, I have encouraged in others the same attitude towards me. Respect begets respect. Suspicion begets suspicion. Hate begets hate. It has been well said that the only way to have a friend is to be one. None of the blessings of our great American heritage of civil liberties is self-executing. To make effective such things as brotherhood, kindliness, sympathy, human decency, the freedom of opportunity, the very preciousness of life, to make these things real requires respect and constant vigilance. This is the core of my American faith. As I have said, I believe I must help to safeguard to all men free expression of their views, even though I may be in disagreement with them. I must listen to and study responsible views. Sometimes I will learn much from them. No individual and no nation has a monopoly of wisdom or talent. When an individual or a nation becomes self-satisfied or complacent, it is time, I believe, to be deeply concerned. He who closes his ears to the views of others shows little confidence in the integrity of his own views. There can be no question with regard to the inherent rights of Americans to enjoy equal economic opportunity in every field, to secure decent living conditions, adequate provision for the moral and spiritual development of their children, and to free association with their fellow men as equals under the law and equals in the sight of God. These rights can be safeguarded and advanced only where men may think and speak freely. I reject a fundamental principle of democracy if I seek to prevent a fellow citizen of different background from fully expressing his thoughts on any subject. I have tried to express a few of my own thoughts on this subject, which is very close to me. I think that we will have good reason for optimism about the future of the American ideal, as long as men can and will say, without fear, what they believe.
That was Senator Herbert H. Lehman of New York, who sees great value in simple beliefs honestly held.
Here's Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, private detective. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and the big neon signs light up the dark office that overlooks Broadway on the corner of 53rd Street. Behind the second-hand mahogany desk, relaxing in a swivel chair, is the leading figure of the Diamond Detective Agency, combination stockholder, office boy, and clue chaser. He is Richard Diamond, and his mind is on a lovely redhead named Helen Asher, as she sits on a couch talking about things he likes to hear. At this moment, however, another scene is taking place in the wealthy district of Long Island. A long black convertible is just pulling up to an old English mansion, and a curvaceous blonde steps from the car. She is met at the door by her brother.
Well, good evening, my dear sister. You're looking simply ravishing.
How would you know the difference?
Oh, drop dead.
You disgusting excuse for a man. Why don't you sober up for 5 minutes and take a look at yourself?
I did once. Oh, by the way, our dear stepfather would like to see you in the study.
Tell him to go.
I already did. Now it's your turn.
I don't want to. Now get out of my way, Chris.
Suit yourself. But Murray Lang's in there with him.
Murray?
Did I start your heart going pitty-pat?
Oh, shut up.
You better go in and protect your money, darling. Bye, Tailbird.
I don't care what your plans are. They can tell my daughter that's enough for me to put a stop to it.
You're not going to put a stop to anything.
You can't intimidate me, Lang. You're just a cheap, no-good gangster, and your methods are too well known to frighten me. Come in!
Oh, hello, Liz.
Hello, Murray.
I'm glad you're here, Elizabeth. Mr. Lang and I were just discussing your future.
I'm surprised you put up with it this long, Murray. Come on, let's leave my dear stepfather until he simmers down.
Elizabeth, I want to talk to you.
Well, I don't want to talk to you. Let's go, Murray.
Listen to what he has to say. Maybe you'll get a laugh out of it.
Well, what is it?
I've just been talking with Lang about your intention to marry him. I have advised him that if such a thing were to take place, it would result in the most serious of consequences.
Is that all?
No, that is not all. When you got into your trouble with the police, my dear stepdaughter, you were paroled in my custody. If I should report to the board that you had violated the terms of your probation, you would most certainly go to prison.
Why, you... What's the matter? Aren't you satisfied with the salary you collect for taking care of Mother's estate?
How dare you, you little snake!
Sit down. You little bicker behind a desk.
Well, just yell and scream all you want to. After Monday, you better start looking for another source of income.
You know very well it's not the money. But your greedy boyfriend here would certainly like to get his hands on it.
Look, you, I don't give a hang if you are a midget. I'm not going to stand here and listen to you.
Murray.
No, baby, I won't take it. I'll wring his scrawny little neck.
Go on, lad, go on. It would give me the greatest of pleasure to call the police and have you locked up.
I'll fix it so you won't have a head to call anyone with.
Murray, leave him alone. Can't you see that's what he wants?
Yes, well, Mr. Lang.
Come on, Liz, let's get some fresh air.
I want to say one more thing. Just remember, Father, my probation expires Monday. After that, you won't control any part of my income, so you better start getting taxed.
And if I report you to the probation board in the morning?
I wouldn't. If you do that, you'll not only stop being my guardian, but you'll stop breathing.
Get out. Get out, both of you.
Murray.
Try to intimidate me. I'll make them both sorry. Detectives. Private detectives, yes. Here's one. Full-page ad. Must be doing very well. Richard Diamond, private detective. If you've got a case, share it with me. Richard Diamond. 7.
Yeah?
Mr. Diamond?
That's right.
I want to hire you for a few days.
Oh, you saw the ad. Well, it just so happens I'm available.
I can't tell you much over the phone. Too many extensions in the house. But it's about my daughter. I'm afraid she's going to get herself into some serious trouble.
Well, how old is she?
20.
Tell her to wait a year.
My name is Chase, Ralph Chase. I live at 82 Maple Drive, Sands Point. Will you come out this evening?
$100 a day and dibs on the icebox.
I'll see you about 8. Goodbye, Mr. Diamond.
What was that all about, Rick?
Well, got a job, baby.
When do you start?
Oh, yes, you're right.
No, Rick. You can start it in the morning. You can't break another one tonight.
Now, come on, Helen, baby. A job's a job.
And a date's a date. I won't let you break this one.
Your car downstairs?
Yes, but I can drive myself home, please, Rick. You promised you wouldn't break another one.
Keys in it?
Yeah, look. I want to hire you to protect me for this evening. I've been receiving mysterious phone calls, and I'm in fear of my life.
Really?
You've got to take the job. Old friends come first.
I'll have to get home and shave before I start working.
You mean you'll take it?
After 12:30. Bye, baby.
You beat.
Oh, you must be getting tired from driving that big car around all day. Grab a cab, honey. It'll give you some rest. I'll take good care of your car.
What?
Want $1 for the cab?
Huh?
No. On second thought, you only live about 25 blocks. Walk will do you good.
Rick.
Deep breathing all the way up Fifth Avenue. Nothing like it. Bye, baby.
Oh!
On the way to the car, I thought about Helen. The most wonderful girl in the world. Money, looks. But she had one bad fault. She wanted to get married. I got into the big sedan and headed for my apartment. I'd been up late the night before with the blonde singer, and I was feeling tired. Funny how things change. My nights in college were just as busy, but at 1 o'clock the next afternoon, I was out playing football. I faced facts pretty well, so when I got home, I took a nap. I slept until 7 and got up and dressed. I drove Helen's car out to Long Island, and at 8 o'clock sharp, I was ringing the doorbell of the Chase Mansion. It was a big house, all right. If they built another one like it, Long Island would sink.
Well, to someone at me chamber door. My name's Chris. Boo.
Blow your booze some other direction. Your breath would wither a lung.
My alcoholic exhalations are composed of the finest ingredients. You must have a weak stomach.
Look, if you'll just stagger out of the way, I'd like to see Mr. Chase.
Dead or alive?
What?
Nothing. I was just thinking out loud. Well, go right ahead. And after your talk with my stepfather, you can find me in the bar. You'll probably wind up like I am.
That's a sweet thought. Where can I find your stepfather?
Probably in the library, lying in my money.
I left him leaning against the front door, gagging on the fresh air. I wandered down a long hallway and a big sitting room, furnished with enough antiques to make the Metropolitan Museum give up in shame. There was something about the place, a heavy quietness, like a bar of gold in a dark room. The shot had come from up ahead, and I tried a couple of doors before I found the room.
Mr. Chase! Mr. Chase! In here!
Mr. Chase?
Yes. Come in and shut the door.
I looked over at Ralph Chase crouching behind a desk. He got up slowly, all 5 feet of him. And I tagged him for a guy who would give $1,000 for every inch you could put on his legs. He looked like he could afford to be a mile high. The tall French windows were open at the back of the room, and you could still smell burning cordite.
Someone tried to shoot me from the garden.
Yeah, I heard the shot.
You must be Diamond.
That's right. Don't you think you better shut the French doors and pull the drapes before someone takes another shot?
Yes, very good idea. You pull the sage diamond. Hey, you can start earning your money right now.
You're a little excited, but I'll start to work.
All right. Be careful, he might still be out there.
Well, I doubt it. I can't see anyone out here.
Oh, he just missed me. You can see where the bullet hit the wall. I jumped and hid behind the desk.
Didn't you hear him on the porch?
No, he must have stood in the soft grass that surrounds the garden.
That's a good 10 feet from the house. You're lucky he didn't move in closer. He probably wouldn't have missed. Got any idea who it was?
Of course, it was Murray Lang.
Murray Lang? The gambler?
Yes, do you know him?
Well, I used to be on the force. Set him up 6 years ago on a larceny rap.
Then you know what he's like. He was in the house this afternoon. We had an argument and he threatened me.
An argument with your daughter?
Yes, about my daughter. How'd you know?
Well, you told me she was getting herself into trouble. She couldn't have picked a better playmate than Lang to get there with.
Father, we heard a shot.
Not really.
Oh, let's go. He's not dead.
My stepchildren, Mr. Diamond.
Oh, well, lovely.
I'm quite alive, so you can both stop looking so unhappy.
Does it show?
Come on, sis. Let's find the guy who fired that shot. I want to give him a few pointers.
Where's Murray Lang, Miss Chase?
Yes, he's the man you want. I'm sure he's...
Don't be absurd. Murray left 3 hours ago. What are you, a cop?
Does it show?
You're wearing too much cologne. Come on, Chris.
Oh, she's nice.
That's Elizabeth. The boy's her brother, Chris.
I'd hate to draw straws.
I married their mother and raised those two brats after she died. The courts appointed me executor of the estate.
They don't like you handling their money, is that it?
Yes. Since they've been old enough to ask for 50 cents to go to a movie, they've condemned me for watching their interests.
You said you were worried about your stepdaughter. Tell me about it.
I'll make it brief. Hate long explanations. Elizabeth got into some trouble with the police. Hit and run. She'd been drinking. The man died. Liz was sentenced to a year in Folsom. But I got her off on probation.
Oh, what do you want me to do? Drive around with her and spoil her aim?
Monday the probation expires. She says she is then going to marry this hoodlum, Murray Lang.
And you don't want that because you think he's after her money?
Exactly. When she marries, the will reads that I shall, as executor, turn over half of the estate to Elizabeth.
What about Christopher?
He looked irresponsible when he was born. His mother left instructions that he should not receive his share until he is 35. That's another 8 years.
Well, your stepdaughter's old enough to know what she's doing. I can't see how you can stop her.
That's what I want you to do.
And if I do, you would be in a pretty good spot.
What do you mean, Mr. Diamond?
You continue as executor.
I can understand you thinking something like that, but believe me, as much as I dislike my stepchildren, I wish to keep them in line for their late mother's sake.
Oh. Well, Mr. Chase, I'll take a look around outside. Maybe I can come up with something that'll point out the would-be killer. If it was Lang, you can stop worrying about Elizabeth. Sing Sing doesn't boast a wedding chapel. I went out through the French doors and started looking around on the soft grass that bordered the garden. I had a fat hunch, so I stopped looking and started wandering. I was halfway through the rose bed when I spotted them. It was Elizabeth and the man. In the darkness, I couldn't make him out, but Murray Lang was my best guess. They went up a narrow path to one of those Chinese pagodas at the far end of the garden, and I stepped up close enough to give my ears a workout. It was Lang, all right.
I don't care what you think. I didn't take a shot at the old man.
Then who did? He's got a policeman in there now, and he's going to start trouble.
Let him. I'm clean. If it was that lushed-up brother of yours.
Chris hates him, but he'd never try to kill him.
Well, then stop hounding me. Maybe you took a shot at the old boy.
Murray.
Well, you got a good reason. I'm tired trying to buck the whole Chase household. If you love me, let's take off tonight and get married. Tell the old man to go to the devil.
You can certainly wait till Monday.
Yeah, but he won't. He's going to cause some kind of trouble and get you tossed into Folsom. He's not going to give up all that money just because you're through with your probation. He probably cooked up that shooting just to get the cops here.
Murray, what's going to happen to us?
Oh, ask your stepfather. He's been doing your thinking for you.
I don't have to. We'll get married Monday.
Okay. I'm staying clear of this place till then.
But what if there's more trouble? I haven't got anyone to turn to.
You'll worry about it, baby. I got a police record that makes yours look like a merit badge.
I was too good a target in the moonlight, so I started back up the walk to the house. As I passed a hedge, I noticed a funny-looking plant that was shoving its way out of the foliage. I'm sorry I did that. It was the Johnny Jump-Up variety. Black. The guy on the other end of the sap gave it to me right over the eyes, and I went down like a crapshooter making a pass. I rolled over and watched the moon melt and run down in my eyes. Something warm and sticky spread over my face and turned the night red. Yeah, I was bleeding again. I guess I showed signs of recovering, so he started all over. This time he used his foot in my side. Oh. A couple more kicks in the ribs and in the right place, and he could have whipped up a fast course of Nola. I felt tired, so I rolled up in an old rose bush and went to sleep. When you finally start coming around, it's like swimming your way out of an acre of mud. If you've taken enough beatings before, you diagnose things in a hurry. The pain in your head is where you got sapped. The ache in your ribs is where he booted you. And the thought in your mind is, it's something about an eye for an eye, if you've got one left. I sat up slowly and looked around. No one in sight. My watch said 10 o'clock. I'd been out for an hour, and I was feeling lonely until I started to get up. I made it to one knee and looked down at the best reason I could think of for staying home nights. It was Murray Lang, and you couldn't blame him for staring. He wasn't impolite, just dead. Something on the walk beside him gleamed in the moonlight. I took out my handkerchief and scooped it up. It was a little nickel-plated .32. You could still smell the fresh powder in the barrel. I put it in my pocket and stumbled back to the house. Chris opened the door.
Well, you shouldn't drink so much. I never get so loaded I look like that.
Well, try it sometime. It might be an improvement.
Boo.
I told you once before not to do that. Now tell me, where were you 10 minutes ago?
I was in the bar.
Who was with you?
Red and green midgets. Now let go of my collar.
Okay. Where's the phone?
In the hall. Hey, what's going on? Who beat you up?
Nobody. I always bleed like this on warm nights.
Huh?
Big pores.
Homicide, Sergeant Otis talking.
Who taught you how? Did you sit up nights with a parrot?
Oh, very funny. Only one guy could think up a lousy joke like that. What do you want, Diamond?
A picture of you. I'm going to show some doctors that mercy killing has its points. Now, let me speak to the lieutenant.
Comic. Homicide, Lieutenant Levinson.
Hello, Walt. This is Diamond.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me get the bicarbonate.
What's the matter?
I get stomach trouble every time you call. Go ahead.
All right. I got a killing for you.
I know it. Why can't you be a good boy and stop finding corpses?
I'm out at Sands Point, 82 Maple Drive. I think I've got the murder weapon in my pocket.
Who's dead?
An old friend, Murray Lang, and you better step on it. There's a drunk staggering around the place, and he's allowed to spot the body and put it in a cold shower to sober it up.
Oh, all right. We'll be right out. Hold the fort.
Well, Mr. Lang's dead.
You better stop sneaking up on people, Buster.
And you'd better stop telling me what to do in my own house, Mr. Diamond.
You sobered up pretty quick.
I heard what you said about finding the murder weapon. May I see it?
No. It stays in my pocket until Homicide gets here.
Whose gun is it?
It's a 40-pound broadsword. Now, stop trying to look like a Chicago muscle man, or I'll start slapping
there
you.
You are, Diamond. I've been looking for you. Great Scott, what happened to your face?
Someone was giving away hints.
Chris, did you have something to do with this?
Hardly. Mr. Diamond has a decided advantage over me. He has muscles. I'll be in the bar.
What's happened? Where's Elizabeth?
I don't know, but her boyfriend's got troubles. He can't explain the hole in his chest.
Lang? What do you mean?
He's out in the garden. Someone shot him.
Is he dead?
And if he's not, he's trying awful hard.
Well, then we'd better call the police.
That's been taken care of. What kind of a gun do you own, Mr. Chase?
You don't
No, I don't. I just dig around till I come up with something. What kind of a gun do you own?
Why, a 45. Now, wait a minute, Diamond. If you've got any ideas about this murder, you'd better wait until the police get here.
Now, look, Chase, I've been insulted in your house, had the air let out of my ego by your beautiful stepdaughter, and beat up in your garden. That's a full night's work, and now I'm on my own time. Where can I find Elizabeth?
I don't know. She may be up in her room.
So where is it?
End of the hall, head of the stairs, first door.
Thanks.
Beginning to rain. What about Lang's body?
Well, if he catches cold, call me. I went down the long hallway to the foot of a massive staircase. The only light was the one burning in the room I just left. I looked over my shoulder and saw Mr. Chase framed in its dim glow, watching me. In that moment, I thought who Chase reminded me of. A triangle hat, his hand in his vest, and Napoleon had a twin. I went up the stairs two at a time.
Yes?
Pardon me for barging in, but some guy in the garden just beat all the bashfulness out of me.
How dare you? You get out of my room.
You better put on something a little warmer, honey. That thing would start a Harry Carey epidemic in Boston.
What do you want?
Yeah. What did you do after Lang left you in the garden?
What?
Big ears. I overheard everything you said.
I see someone pushed your face around. It's an improvement. Did Murray catch you eavesdropping?
Well, if he did, he won't have much time to gloat.
What do you mean? If you've done anything to Murray...
Aren't you getting ready for bed a little early?
I don't know what you want. I don't have to answer any of your ridiculous questions. Now, if you don't turn around and get out of here...
What's the matter, baby? Is the drawer empty? Lose something?
No.
Maybe this is it.
Where did you get that gun?
It was lying in the garden beside your boyfriend's body.
Beside...
That's it, lover. Now sit down and relax.
Is Murray dead?
Like Jimmy Fiddler's gossip column. Didn't you hear anything after Murray left you?
Oh, no. I was crying. I ran back to the house, came up here.
Is there another way back to the house besides the path that Murray took?
It's one that leads to those outside doors. I came right to my room. Please leave me alone.
This is your gun, isn't it?
Yes, but I didn't do it. I didn't. Murray and I were going to be married Monday.
Ballistics will probably show it's the one that did the job. You better tell me everything you know.
I don't know anything. I didn't shoot Murray. Someone stole my gun from the drawer. Oh, please find out who did it. If they hold me, I'll go to prison anyway. Please, Mr. Diamond, please.
It's going to be tough if this is a gun. I'm pretty sure it is. You could still smell the powder when I... The powder.
What's the matter, Mr. Diamond?
Huh? Oh, nothing. Look, you stay in your room. Maybe I can do you some good. I promise you'll stay here.
Sure. I'm not going anyplace.
And try and snap out of it. Sometimes you keep losing until there's nothing left to play with. It breaks the jinx. I went downstairs and started looking for Chase. As I passed the doors leading to the garden, I stopped cold. A flash of lightning turned the garden flat white. Someone was standing over what was left of Murray Lang. Well, like the view?
Oh, Diamond. I was just looking at the body.
I talked with your daughter. She says the gun that killed Lang was hers.
What?
Claims they had an argument, but won't admit she shot him.
Oh, no, I can't believe it. Certainly she had no reason... Unless...
Unless what?
Well, unless she found out Lang was just after her money.
Well, that's possible. Anyway, if she did do it, I still can't figure who worked me over.
Maybe it was Lang. You told me yourself he didn't like you.
Maybe it was Elizabeth.
Oh, no. It would have to be somebody very strong. She might have kicked you, but never could she have hit you hard enough to crack your head open like that.
Tell me, when does Elizabeth come into her money?
Why, at the end of the probation. The court set it aside until she was cleared of all charges.
Who gets it if she goes to prison?
Well, I'm the sole executor of the estate, but she's not going to jail. She didn't do this thing. I'll get the best counsel in the country.
I'm sure you will. Tell me something, Chase. It's pretty obvious that my face got pushed around, but how did you know my ribs got the same treatment?
What?
It doesn't show. It just hurts.
Why, well, you told me. What are you getting at, Diamond?
You'd have to reach pretty high to sap me, but if you were mad enough, you could make it.
This is absurd. I'm going inside.
And when I get grouchy, it's better to listen. I'm liable to use you to make the flowers grow.
Go ahead, Mr. Diamond. I'm listening.
Well, everybody in this house has some sort of motive for killing. With Elizabeth, it could be the old story of a woman scorned. With your lushed-up stepson, he could want to put the blame on his sister so he'd get more than his share of the estate. And we certainly know you stand to profit if Elizabeth goes to prison, because you retain custody of the family fortune.
I'm getting wet, Mr. Diamond.
Everybody's story's weak, but only one of them doesn't stand up. You said earlier this evening someone tried to shoot you from outside your library.
Of course they did. You have the shot and saw the bullet hole.
That's right, I did. But you told me he was standing outside the room by a good 10 feet. Nothing to say, Chase?
You're trying to catch me up in something.
Oh, you are so right. Now, when I walked into that room, I could still smell burning cordite. To smell fresh gunpowder like that, the gun would have to have been fired outside the room. You staged it, so I'd think someone was trying to kill you.
Is that all, Mr. Diamond?
Outside of the slip you made about kicking me in the ribs. Now, let's go inside.
I don't think so, Diamond.
Oh, that the 45 you were telling me about?
Yes. Go ahead, make a try for it. I'm going to show you how it works.
You kill Lang with your stepdaughter's gun, and you're going to collect the money if she goes to prison. Oh, you're a slob.
My stepdaughter could easily kill 2 men tonight.
You're in a spot. You can't shoot me with that 45 and make it look like the same person killed Lang, too. So you've got to get the 32 in my pocket.
Give me Elizabeth's gun, Diamond.
You try and get it, Chase.
Why, you... Rick, are you out there?
Better give it up, Chase. That's the law. He eats little men like you.
Out there, Lieutenant. Rick, stay right there. Another killing won't matter if you try and stop me. For Pete's sake, if you're out there, Rick, answer me. I'll get the soap. Just keep your mouth closed, Diamond. I'm getting out of here.
You'll never make a Chase. They'll pick you up inside of an hour.
Not if you're too dead to tell them. Yes, that's it. If I kill you, I'll eat at least.
You should watch your step, Chase.
Keep the head down, Lieutenant. Somebody's mad. Get up over this and get out from under that bench. Rick!
Over here, Walt.
What's going on, Rick? Who's doing all the shooting?
Oh, we took turns. He was just going to kill me when he tripped over the body of his first victim. I used this .32 in my pocket, shot him twice.
He's dead, Lieutenant. Give me my baking soda, Otis. Yeah, Lieutenant. Don't look so unhappy, Rick. He was going to kill you.
Oh, I'm not unhappy. I'm just sore that I didn't have time to take the gun out of my pocket. I ruined a darn good coat. The three of us went back in the house, and Otis took Christopher up to bed so he could sleep it off. Walt listened to the story as I told it to Elizabeth. She cried a little and thanked me with her eyes. Walt went downstairs to clean things up, and I sat by her bed until she went to sleep. She didn't even wake up when I kissed her goodbye. Oh, I guess it was better that way. I said goodbye to Walt and Otis and headed for 975 Park Avenue. I was late, and my face could use a mile of bandage. I hope Helen wouldn't mind.
Yes? Oh, my goodness.
Hello, Francis. Tell Miss Asher I brought a car back.
Oh, how bad a wreck was it, sir?
Give me a glass with a backbone, will you, Francis?
Yes, sir, right away, sir. Miss Asher's in the study.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi.
Well, it's about... Oh, Rick, not again.
Mm-hmm.
Your poor little face.
Yeah, my poor little face.
Well, you just stretch out on the couch, and I'll get you a nice tall drink.
Francis is already on his way. Oh.
Feel better?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Got a pillow?
I'll hold your head up. How's this?
Mm-hmm.
Like some music to go with it?
Sure. Turn on the radio.
You comfortable?
Mm-hmm. How about you?
Uh-huh. That music sounds like San Francisco. Remember the top of the mark?
Yeah, fun, too.
Mind if I turn off the light? The glow from the fire is enough.
You're cute.
Better?
Much. The snow is snowing, the wind is blowing, but I can weather the storm. What do I care how much it may storm? I've got my love to keep me warm.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember a worse December. Just watch those icicles fall. What do I care if icicles fall? I've got my love to keep me warm.
I like your singing, too.
Off with my overcoat, off with my gloves. I need no overcoat. I'm burning with love. My heart's on fire. The flame grows higher. So I will weather the storm. Why do I care how much it may storm? I've got my love to keep me warm.
That was nice.
Hey, why did you turn the radio off?
This is nicer. Come here, Rick.
Oh, honey. Honey, you're reading my mind.
Here's your drink, Mr. Diamond. Oh, my goodness.
You have just heard the fourth of a new series, Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell. Helen was played by Virginia Gregg, Lieutenant Levinson by Ed Begley. Also in our cast were Wilms Herbert, Betty Moran, Jay Novello, Jack Edwards, and Tal Avery. Music was under the direction of David Baskerville. Now, this is Eddie King, inviting you to be with us again at the same time next week when we will again bring you Dick Powell as Richard Diamond's private detective. This program has come to you from Hollywood. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
This I believe. Herbert Hodge is a London cabbie. Although he now only drives a taxi one day a week to keep his hand in, he is still remembered as the taxicab philosopher. In the late 1930s, he began broadcasting his experiences as a cab driver for the BBC and was immediately recognized as a natural. Since then, his voice has become one of the most familiar and best loved on the British radio. Now, Herbert Hodge shares with us his creed.
I sometimes wonder whether we human beings believe only what we want to believe. And then I say to myself, do I believe only what I want to believe? And that frightens me, and I say, oh no, surely not. But now, when I try to state my beliefs, I feel we ought to bear that possibility in mind. I believe that somewhere there is the complete answer to all life's questions. Somewhere there's the whole truth. And sometimes we're aware of this truth, only we can't describe it. The most we can manage is to say, it was as if I walked with God, or as if I suddenly understood the meaning of all life. And then the moment's gone. And I believe that most of our religious and philosophical beliefs and most of our great works of art, I believe they are human attempts to recapture those moments, our human as-if pictures, or parables if you like, offering us some glorious glimpses of the truth, but not the whole truth, or at any rate not for me. Well, I reached that stage in my thinking when I was about 35, 15 years ago. But I found I couldn't stop there, sort of suspended in the middle of nowhere. I felt I needed a practical faith for living my own little 20th century life. So in the end, I tried to draw my own picture. It's what I call a shock-proof picture, designed to guard me against some of the disappointments of life. So it's got no plans for permanent human happiness in it, and no paradise on earth, and no pie in the sky. These things may be possible, but I feel they're too far away at the moment to concern me as a practical workman. My picture shows me life as if it were a job of work, with man as the craftsman trying to make a better job of it, and his happiness, such as it is, growing accidentally, as it were, out of his work. And I've found I can apply this rough workman's philosophy to everything I do, whether I'm repairing a motor, or writing an essay, or making love, or taking part in a political meeting, or anything. I can try to make a better job of it, and a better job of myself as a man, and a better job of our human community. Of course, if you ask me what I mean by that word better, well, I mean better as I see it, just as I suppose you mean better as you see it. Maybe that's why we so often make such a mess of things together. But with all our mistakes, I believe we do make progress, even if it's only 1/10 of an inch in 10,000 years. And there's always tomorrow. Tomorrow we can try again. And I believe there are still plenty of tomorrows for the human race, however destructive those threatened future wars may be. I believe human happiness is all in the trying, and especially in the trying again.
That was Herbert Hodge of London, England, whose down-to-earth, common-sense view of life and close identification with the ordinary people of his country have made him one of their favorite spokesmen.
By transcription. The Mutual Broadcasting System proudly presents Mr. District Attorney. Mr. District Attorney, champion of the people, defender of truth, guardian of our fundamental rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Mr. District Attorney, transcribed, starring Jay Jostin in the title role, Glenn Doyle as Harrington, and Vicky Vola as Miss Miller.
And it shall be my duty as District Attorney not only to prosecute to the limit of the law all persons accused of crimes perpetrated within this county, but to defend with equal vigor the rights and privileges of all its citizens.
In a moment, Mr. District Attorney, but first, you know, one of the best ways to send food and clothing abroad is through CARE. This way is efficient, economical, and on a person-to-person basis. For CARE offers a wide variety of packages to fill many needs. There's the food package, which is designed to supplement the rations of a family of 4 for a month. The contents are chosen to meet most basic shortages and to combine with available foods to make nationally preferred dishes. You know, you can send a parcel that contains enough food to feed a baby for 1 month. And each CARE package is delivered to the family chosen by you. If you do not know someone abroad you would like to help, you may designate a category, such as a French orphan or Greek farmer. Delivery of your package is quick. Orders placed in the U.S. or air cargo to designated countries where deliveries are made from local CARE warehouses. Signed receipts obtained upon delivery are mailed back to you. For further information about CARE packages, contact your nearest CARE office. This message is brought to you as a public service.
Just a minute. Just a minute, I'm coming. Yes, look at... Mother.
Surprise, kid.
Trixie,
come in. Why don't you make yourself to home? Thanks, kid, I will.
But...
Good grief, look at you. You're even skinnier than I thought. And what's this Mr. and Mrs. Taylor routine on the door? I chased all over town finding you, Nora.
I'm married.
You're what?
Ed, my husband's at work. He'd be...
Stop mumbling, child, and stop gaping, will you? It's me, all right. So you're married. Legal?
Trixie, you can't come here like this. You just can't.
I must say that's a fine way to greet your mother. And me coming straight here the minute they slammed the doors behind me.
I didn't know. I hadn't kept track.
Ever hear of good behavior? You just keep your nose clean up there and they let you out early. Oh, I'm on pro, sure, but that's a cinch. I can con my way through that like a breeze.
On probation?
Yes, probation, that's what they call it. I got to report to some monkey to prove I'm going straight.
Look, Trixie, you can't stay here. You don't understand. Ed is...
Ed? Oh, that's the sucker you hooked, I take.
Don't you see? Ed is kind of...
You know all about your sweet old mother, kid?
My mother is dead.
I ought to bust you in the lip for that one. So you didn't tell him, huh? How long you been hitched?
We were married in 1950.
What's his racket? Does he work?
He drives a milk wagon.
A milk wagon? What's the angle?
There isn't any angle. We furnished this place on part of his savings. We put most of it in the bank, so we... You wouldn't understand.
Did you tell him your old lady was in stir?
I just never mentioned you.
Trusting dope, isn't he? But you didn't tell him I was dead.
I just didn't say anything.
What time do you do home?
Tonight, 6:30 usually.
Good. That gives us a couple of hours to dope out something to tell him.
Trixie, you can't stay here, do you hear me? You can't.
Now, stop yapping, will you? I can handle your Ed all right. And, you better drop that Trixie routine. From now on, it's Mother. And mothers come home to stay.
I am reminded in passing of the celebrated remark made by Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes when in his decision in the Supreme Court he said, quote, I'll have to find that quote for you, Miss Miller. It's in volume 23, I believe. $23,290.
I'll have it brought in from the library, Chief.
All right, fine.
Oh, you busy, Chief?
Oh, come in, Harrington. I think we'll give it up for the moment, Miss Miller.
Right, Chief. I'll get this much typed up this afternoon.
Oh, something important, Chief? I can come back.
Oh, it's nothing special. Just a speech for the university.
Why, it is, too. Haven't you heard, Harrington? The Chief's going to talk to a whole convention of criminal lawyers.
What?
Yes, do you think I look dignified enough for it, Harrington?
Well, you sure didn't in that baseball game at the picnic yesterday. How's the old back this morning?
Well, the phrase, I think, is, oh, my aching back. Boy, it's appropriate. I'm afraid my pitching days are over.
Oh, boy, you ought to see Brophy.
Yeah?
He's tied up like that escape artist they used to throw into Hudson River.
Oh, Houdini.
Oh, thank you, Miss Miller. I'm surprised you remember. Oh, that reminds me about Brophy, I mean.
Yes?
Guess who turned up on the probation list this morning, Chief? I had her assigned to me, too.
This morning, but I haven't seen the sheet.
Trixie Norris.
Norris?
Oh, Chief, you remember that old trouble-proof Trixie? Got the itchiest fingers in town? She went up on a dead right when we cleaned out Lippy Defense.
Oh, yes, I remember. So she's out, is she?
Yeah, going straight, she says. I've heard that before, too. Trixie couldn't go straight if she was riding up in an elevator.
I'll give her a chance anyway, Harrington.
Oh, well, you know me, Chief. I won't hound her. But I ain't letting her far out of my sight either. She'll be up to something before long. You wait and see.
Ed, dear boy, you look tired. Let me get you your slippers, huh?
Oh, don't bother, Mother Norris. Matter of fact, I'm going to turn in.
Oh, now, Ed, if you and Nora have something planned, don't let me interfere. I wouldn't get in your way for the world.
You? Why, we're glad you're here, Mother. Well, you're so young, acting, and spry. It's just like I was telling the boys down at the dairy. I said,
Ed, you go to a movie.
Oh, you got the dishes all done, Nora?
To a movie, indeed. Ed's going to get a good night's sleep, aren't you, son?
Well, I sure could use it, Mother. Oh, I have to get up awful early.
Now, you just run along to bed, and I'll see that the house is just as quiet as a mouse. Oh, not you, Nora, dear. Mother wants to have a little talk with you.
Talk about what?
Just little things, dear. Say good night to Ed now.
Well, night, honey. Night, Mother Morris.
Good night, dear boy. Sleep tight.
Good night.
Of all the squares.
Trixie, I insist that you get up.
And if you call me Mother Norris, I'll crack you in the teeth.
Look, I've been thinking.
You've been thinking. What won't they dream up next? Listen, Nora, I need more money.
But I gave you $5 this morning.
$5. Come out of the bush league, will you? I need real dough.
Trixie, I haven't got it. I told you.
Ed has. What about all the savings he's got stashed in the bank?
That's for something else.
And what's more important than your mother?
I told you. If there's a baby.
A baby? Well, I'll be. Now, listen, kid. That bank account, it's in both your names, huh?
Yes, but I don't see what that's got to do with it.
You don't see nothing. You know what that worm is doing to you? Take my advice, girl, and do something about it before you lose him.
Before I lose him, Ed?
I don't mean Milton Berle. This boy's on the run.
Oh, that's crazy.
Is it? He's got a dame in every cottage on his milk route. You better wake up and face it.
You keep saying that, and it isn't true.
I know men, Nora. You're losing him, kid. You think he's working when he doesn't come home all day?
I told you he has to work in the dairy after he gets through delivering.
That's a fancy name for it, all right.
Oh, I'd die if I lost Dad. I'd just die.
Look, you want some good advice, kid? And so help me, I've seen it work time after time.
Seen what work?
When your man's getting away from you, Nora, there's one sure way to get him back. Make him sick, kid. That's the answer.
Sick? I don't understand.
All right, so I'll draw pictures. When a man's helpless, you can get to him, see? Mother him, nurse him, make him see how much he needs you.
Yes, but...
And when a man's sick, he is helpless. You get it?
Yes, but Ed isn't sick. He's strong as an ox.
Oh, there's ways to make people sick, you know.
There are?
Get me some of that rye out of the cupboard like a good girl, and I'll tell you just how this thing goes.
Mr. District Attorney continues in a moment, but first, here's your opportunity to help put your favorite unsung football player into the limelight, to give your college recognition by voting for its outstanding player. All you have to do is cast your vote in Harry Wismer's exciting campaign to select the All-College All-America football team. Voting is going on right now. You can learn all about it on the Sports 10 program heard every weeknight. The campaign is a chance for little-known players of any college, large or small, to achieve the prized rank of All-America. But every fan must do his part and cast his vote. You'll want to round up all the ballots you can for your favorite. So tell all your friends to listen to Harry Wismer's Sports 10 program for complete details. Your college can gain national honors through your selection for the All-College All-America football team. Don't miss this chance to let your opinions be heard in a national campaign. Learn all the details of the All-College All-America football team selection on Harry Wismer's Sports 10 program, heard every weeknight over most of these stations.
Hey, Trixie. Hey. Hiya, Trixie. Hey, wait a second, will you? What's your hurry?
Huh? Oh, it's you. I thought it was a beautiful morning.
Oh, now, that's no way to greet an old friend, Trixie.
Look, Harrington, I report to you on Mondays. This is Wednesday. Stop following me, will you?
I'm not tailing you, Trixie. I was just standing here on the corner. You passed by, that's all. It's okay to say hello to a pal, ain't it?
You and me, pals.
Well, ain't we?
You know you old goat. It's too bad you're a cop. We might hit it off at that.
Hell, are you still living with your daughter, Trixie?
And why not?
No reason. I'm just interested, that's all.
Sure, I'm living with her. Her and her husband. Should I tell you a secret, Harrington?
If you want it.
We bought a press, see?
Huh?
We're making $3 bills.
No kidding.
Buy the basketful, copper. Drop up sometime. I'll give you a fistful and you can put it on a horse.
Oh, you playing the horses these days?
Funny, aren't you? Rule 94, people on pro don't gamble. Do they, Harrington?
So you're really hitting the old straight and narrow, huh, Trixie?
Buy me a beer sometime and maybe I'll tell you all about it.
You know, I think you would at that. You're quite a gal, Trixie.
Oh, I'll bet you say that to all your pro kids. Go on back to the DA, Sonny, and tell him little Trixie is flying high, see? High, wide, and straight. Get it?
I'll tell him, Trixie. You know he'll be glad to hear it.
That's right. Well, see you around.
Yeah, sure, Trixie. You'll see me around. Street corners, middle of the block, practically any place that you happen to be.
Call Ed, dear. Everything's on the table.
Trixie, no, I'm scared.
Call him, you little fool. Oh, Ed, dear, dinner.
I can't.
You want him back, don't you? Well, don't you?
Yes.
You put the stuff in his milk the way I told you? Answer me, Nora.
Yes, I did.
Then don't you worry. Ed, dear, I said dinner. Coming.
Trixie, I can't do it again.
Shut up. My goodness, Ed, everything will be cold.
Golly, Nora, it looks wonderful. Oh, just look at those chops. Done to a turn. Isn't she a wonder, Mother Nora?
Yes, come on now. Eat it before it gets cold.
Oh, sure thing. Pass the butter, will you, Mother Nora?
Certainly. Here you are.
Are you going to drink your milk now?
Now and later, honey. That's the way I always kid waitresses, Mother Nora. They say, you want your beverage now? And I always say, now and later, kiddo. You get it? Now and later.
I'll bet you kid him all right, Ed. Don't you, Nora?
What? So what's the matter tonight, honey? You're as quiet as a mouse.
Ed, don't you want tea? I could make you a cup of tea.
Tea? Oh, now, honey, you know I don't like tea.
Don't nag him, dear. Ed likes milk. After all, he delivers the stuff.
Yes, sir.
Hey, don't.
Nora, for Pete's sake, what's eating?
Don't drink that milk. Now, what are you so upset about, child?
Don't drink my milk. But, honey, it's good milk.
Nora! Shut up.
It's poison. She made me put poison in it.
What? Ed, that isn't true. She isn't herself. She doesn't know what she's saying.
It is true, I tell you. Ed, don't drink it, don't.
Let me see this
Ed,
milk.
no.
Well, it is bitter. There is something in this glass.
Don't be a fool, Ed. Sit down.
Answer me, Nora. What's this all about? Nora.
She made me do it. It was to make you sick.
Sick?
So I could nurse you back to health. She says she don't love me.
Shut up, you little fool. Shut up. Ed, don't listen to her.
What do you think you can do?
Please. My neck, let go.
Answer me.
Ed, you're hurting me.
Answer me, Nora. Tell me what this is all about.
All right, sonny boy. You asked for it.
Oh, Trixie, you hit him.
Shut up.
Ed. Oh, darling, listen to me, Ed. Trixie, his head is breathing. Trixie,
Get out of my way. Here, let me see him.
Trixie.
Quiet.
Trixie.
Yeah, he's dead already.
Cannon,
I said. Here, what is going on?
Oh, you killed him. You hit him with an iron dart.
Wipe it off, I said.
You killed him. You shut up.
Now, you do what I say, you hear? You're in this too, don't forget. Come on now. Help me drag him over to that fireplace. Hurry, Nora.
You killed him.
We, kid. Don't forget that. You put the stuff in his milk. Now, here. Put his head up against that andiron. He fell, you get it? He fell and hit his head on the fireplace andiron. Wait a minute. Blood. Yeah, there should be blood on the andiron. Here we are. Hold still, Ed, my boy. We'll just wipe a little blood over here. There. Does it? Perfect.
I can't go through with it.
Sister, you better, that's all. There was poison in that glass of milk you tried, you know. And you put it there, baby.
But it's murder, Trixie. It's murder.
It's going to be all right, see? From now on, you do everything Mother said.
Come on now, Trixie, open up and tell us what really happened.
I told you a dozen times. He got mad while we were having our dinner.
He sat there, Trixie?
Yes, sir, right there.
Order a picture of that chair, Miss Miller, will you?
I will, Chief, as soon as Ray gets here.
Go on, Trixie. So Ed gets mad, huh? And then what?
Well, he got up and started for Nora. She was standing in front of the fireplace, weren't you, dear?
Yes, I was.
So Nora ducked. Ed fell against the fireplace, and when he went down, he cracked his head on that andiron. Right, Trixie?
Right. You can see the blood yourself.
On the andiron, you mean?
Oh, look for yourself.
Yes, I did, Trixie. Put that on Ray's list, too, Miss Miller.
Right, Chief.
Well, Chief, now what?
I want the body sent to the morgue, Harrington, as soon as the photographers are through.
Check. Tag it, will you, Miss Miller?
Yeah, got it made out.
I want to go over this room thoroughly, Harrington. Tell Brophy we'll need prints and pictures all the way through.
Yeah, right. What about Trixie and Nora, Chief? You want me to take them in?
Why,
Take us in? And what for, I'd like to know. Just because I'm on pro, you can't think.
All right, Trixie. All right, quiet down.
Well...
Nothing to get excited about. I'm not taking you in.
That's better.
Well, but
later, Harrington. Let's get the apartment checked first, and then we'll decide what's to be done. In the meantime, Trixie...
Yeah?
You understand you and Nora are to stay here. Just a formality, but see that you do.
Yeah, I'll leave a man downstairs, Chief.
Right. And now let's get started. We have a lot of work to do.
Dry up. You've been falling all night.
I can't help it, Trixie. I'm scared. I don't know what to do.
Look, Nora. Come on, child. Now look up. Here, put your head back.
Oh, Trixie, I loved him so. I only wanted to make him sick.
You'll be all right, kid. I won't let anything happen. You know that.
Trixie.
After all, you're all I've got. We got to stick together, baby. You and old Trixie.
Where do we go? What do we do? I loved him so. And now I feel lost.
No, we'll make up. Here. You and him had this bank account, didn't you, Nora?
You know we did.
Well, then it's simple, kid. We just take the dough and we'll make a trip. Yeah, that's it. A nice, long trip so we can forget all about this. Maybe Canada would be nice this time of year.
On Ed's money?
Our money, girl. Well, look, you deserve it, honey. And with me standing by to help you, say, things will be just fine.
Trixie?
Yes, Harrington.
Yeah, Brophy's back from the Taylor apartment. He's got the andirons with him, just the way you said.
Good. Put a tag on them, William Smiller.
Oh, right away, Chief.
Oh, and one thing more.
Yes?
I asked Brophy to bring down some other things from the apartment, Miss Miller. Tag everything, and I'll be out to check it in a moment.
Right, Chief.
Other things, Chief?
Yes, it may not be much, Harrington. The fact is, I'm trying to be sure... Oh, excuse me. Yes. Oh, yes, Skippy. What did the doctor find? Oh, I see. No, I hadn't expected that. Yes, ask him to send his report up at once, will you please? Yes, thanks.
What, the autopsy report on Taylor, Chief?
A surprising report, I'd say. They found evidence of poison in his stomach, Harrington.
What?
Yes, not enough to cause death, however. The blow on the head did that.
Poison?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, Chief. Should I go get her? Trixie, this clinches it, doesn't it?
Well, I wish it did, but frankly, I'm not sure.
But
No, we'll wait, I think. I still want to examine everything Brophy brought down here. Then we'll be sure.
Mr. District Attorney continues in a moment, but first, we are at the beginning of rough winter weather. Now is the time to make certain that your car is in tip-top shape for the months ahead. Check up and see if the brakes would hold if you had to stop in an emergency. See if both headlights are working and set at the proper height. And don't forget to check on the taillights at the same time. And those tires, are all four sturdy enough to protect you against a blowout? Check up now. On the average, 1 out of every 3 cars has at least one mechanical defect. You know, you can't be safe if your car is unsafe. And don't be fooled by thinking your car is in good condition just because it's a new model. Some parts wear out rather quickly, and failure to keep cars in good condition is one of the basic causes of accidents. So, for the protection of yourself, the folks who ride with you, and those you may meet in traffic, keep your car in safe driving shape. Make frequent, regular checkups and fix-ups a rule. Check your car and check accidents. Remember, the life you save may be your own. This message is brought to you as a public service.
Oh, don't be so stubborn, Nora. After all, I know how to handle money.
But, Trixie, it was his savings. I hadn't got the right...
Right. Will you get it through your thick head that he's dead? That money belongs to us.
I wish I could be sure what to do.
I'll tell you what, sure, young lady. Unless you do what I tell you, you'll end up with a murder rap on you.
But, Trixie,
Poison, remember? Now get smart, kid. Draw that dough out of the bank, and as soon as the DA gives us the word, we'll head for Canada.
I can't do it.
Why, I ought to beat some sense into you.
Trixie, who's that?
Cops, probably. They'll swarm all over the joint until they're satisfied. Well, it's you again, huh?
I just thought I'd keep you company, Trixie.
Haven't you got a home?
Feeling better, Nora?
She's okay. Go on in and lie down, dear.
No, stay here, Nora. Matter of fact, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
You dared. You asked me so many.
Well, I'm curious, Nora. You don't mind, do you? After all, your husband's death was an accident, wasn't it?
You're darn right it was.
Was it, Nora?
I told you.
Well, come on, tell me again, Nora. It was an accident, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Leave me alone.
And, wait a minute. The poison we found in his stomach. That was an accident, too, Nora.
The poison?
Trixie. Nora, go inside. Go on.
No. Stay here, Nora. What about the poison, kid? Did Trixie slip it to him?
You're crazy.
Did she, Nora? Did Trixie give him the poison? Did she? Come on now, tell the truth, Nora. I'd hate to see you get stuck for something that you didn't do.
Don't you say anything, Nora.
Well, you might just as well, Nora, because we know all about it anyway. The poison and everything. Did she give it to him? Nora, did you let her poison your husband? Did you?
Oh, stop it. I did it.
Huh?
Nora, shut up.
I put in this milk. That's the truth. I did it. I tell you.
Well, now ain't that interesting. Stand still.
You stinking little...
Save it. Let's go downtown. Get your hat and brush.
I did it.
Come in.
Oh, Harrington. Well, I'm glad you're here.
Oh, it's all sewed up, Chief. Come on, Nora, get your hat.
Harrington, you mean Nora did it?
She just admitted it, Miss Miller. Nora's ready to talk, Chief. She put the poison in Ed's milk.
Oh, is that right, Nora?
Nora, don't talk. Yes, I did. I told you I did.
All set, Chief?
Why, yes, Harrington. I think we're all set. Take Trixie downtown and book her.
What?
Trixie?
Me? Well, you're crazy. You just heard the kid.
Oh, I heard her, Trixie. And undoubtedly she did put something into Ed's milk.
Sure, Chief, like I said.
Yes, but that didn't kill Ed Taylor, Trixie. You did.
What?
There's a car downstairs, Harrington. This case is closed.
Mr. District Attorney continues in a moment, but first, Mutual believes that if something is good, then there should be more of it. In keeping with this policy, you can now hear 6 different new variety programs. There's Joe King, the MC with a smile in his voice, who interviews guest celebrities, including some of the biggest names in the entertainment world. For everyone interested in food, and that includes the whole family, famed expert Duncan Hines offers choice tidbits on table and travel topics. The Mutual sports voice, who needs no introduction, Al Helper, presents interviews and interesting anecdotes about the top personalities in the field of sports. And David Ross, veteran broadcaster, turns the spotlight on Americana with salutes to famous anniversaries. One of the best-known and best-loved of actors, Edward Arnold, gives a great performance as the storyteller. And 2 quick-witted favorites, Arlene Francis and Bill Cullen, join talents to bring a program of smiles. Yes, sir, for something new and different, why not just stay tuned to your favorite Mutual station? You can hear them all every weekday over most of these stations. Back now for Mr. District Attorney.
For the murder of Ed Taylor, ladies and gentlemen, Trixie will pay the full penalty demanded by law. And this time, her career is really over.
Yeah, and Nora, Chief, what about her?
Well, for her complicity in the crime, Nora will be sentenced, Harrington, but I think the court will be lenient. Perhaps even suspend sentence.
Oh, I'm glad, Chief. I think she's learned her lesson. I don't think you'll have any more trouble from her.
No, nor do I, Miss Miller. Actually, Nora was the victim of a hardened criminal type, her foster mother, Trixie Norris.
Foster mother?
Yes, Trixie wasn't Nora's real mother, Harrington. As a matter of fact, Nora was an orphan. Years ago, as we know now, Trixie took Nora in off the streets. Took her in as a child to train her in a criminal career.
Just how were you sure it was Trixie who murdered Ed, Chief?
Well, she was very clever, Miss Miller, but she made one mistake. She hit Ed with that iron doorstop, you see, the one I had Brophy bring down to the office for examination.
And under the microscope, you found blood on it, huh, Chief? Blood that they didn't get off with that rag.
Yes, that's right, Harrington, and that, I admit, was a stab in the dark, ordering an examination of any heavy, blunt object in the room.
But the andiron really proved it, didn't it, Chief?
Yes, it did, Miss Miller. Trixie was clever enough to smear blood from Ed's head onto the andiron, but what she forgot was hair.
Hair?
Yes, strands of hair, Harrington. If he'd fallen against the andiron the way Trixie said he had, there would have been hair as well as blood on its surface. And as you know, there wasn't. And that was that.
This is the last program in the current series of Mr. District Attorney broadcasts. Next week, at the same time, over most of these same stations, Mutual presents Counter Spy, a program designed to help investigate and combat the enemies of our country, both at home and abroad. Be sure to listen then.
This program came to you transcribed. Colorful San Francisco awakens the entire West Coast with that passable of peppy persuaders, the Breakfast Gang, who welcome the invitation to join you in greeting the dawn each Monday through Saturday morning at 7:15. It's the program designed to start your day off at the right tempo. So be sure you hear the Breakfast Gang tomorrow morning and each Monday morning, Monday through Friday morning at 7:15. Stay tuned now for the latest news on the newspaper of the air with John Holbrook, which follows immediately. This is the Mutual Don Lee Broadcasting